And we're underway in our 1998 IHL All-Star Game.
The Eastern Center across the line. It's a layup will score. The hometown Orlando Solar Bears from right wing.
National Hockey League skates tonight in Orlando. The glistening Arena, all dressed up for All-Star festivities, now frames the reigning Turner Cup champions. The Detroit Vipers return to the Arena to take on the Orlando Solar Bears, the second meeting this week between these two rivals out of the Eastern Conference. And a check of the Eastern Conference standings, evidence of Detroit's dominance. And Orlando's challenge tonight, too, and for the remaining 29 games, including this evening's encounter. Orlando must battle to remain among the top four and maintain a home ice edge with the Turner Cup playoffs just over the horizon. 29 games can go very quickly, as the former IHL netminder Mike Greenlay knows. Along with the Greener, I'm Paul Kennedy. Orlando has been Detroit's nemesis this year, Mike. They have beaten the Vipers on 4 different occasions, although Detroit prevailed here Thursday evening 3-2 in what was an excellent hockey game.
Yeah, it was a good, tight hockey game. Evidence of what you see between these two teams. This is their 8th meeting in the season, and you get pretty familiar with the team after 8 games.
Detroit has the top offense in the eye. They score more goals than any other franchise, and they have turned this checking forward in Darren Banks into a goal producer. He scored not once, but twice in that win 2 nights ago. This on the rebound, Keith Aldridge the blast, goal number 12 for Banks.
Well, Darren Banks, he has 5 goals in his last 4 games. He's +5 against Orlando this season, which means he's not a liability defensively. All of his offensive numbers are career highs this season, and when you consider how tough he is, it's a great combination.
In any level of professional play, you win at the defensive end. Orlando with only 17 shots on goal, but this one countered. Hubie McDonough with his 21st.
Well, Hubie led the Solar Bears in goals last year. He's an original Bear, and he's also the team captain. He continues to play well. This evening, he'll skate with Bill Armstrong and Scott Hollis. It'd be great to see that line break out and have a real strong game.
Orlando, looking to improve its offensive production, has made a rather intriguing move. This former all-star defenseman, Pat Neaton, is moving up to play left wing, and he'll do so with Mark Beaufait.
Well, Kurt Fraser thinks speed is what will beat this big Detroit Viper team, and putting Pat Neaton on a line with Solar Bear assist leader Mark Beaufait and the talented rookie Eric Nicholas might be the combination that will open up that tight Detroit and very stingy Detroit defense.
So Orlando looking to end a 5-game winning streak on the part of the dangerous Detroit Vipers. Our lines are opening faceoff. Coming up next, live on Sunshine.
Orlando Solar Bears hockey is brought to you by Florida Hospital, the exclusive hospital of the Orlando Solar Bears. By the new Dodge, it's about change. By Pepsi, Generation Next. By Bell South, proud sponsor of the Orlando Solar Bears. And by Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer of the IHL. play like a pro.
Sportsplex is awesome.
I think it's great. I think it's going to bring us closer to our fans.
They have a state-of-the-art athletic club, aerobics, 3 swimming pools, and a multi-sport gym.
A sports medicine and rehabilitation center. It offers lessons, leagues, tournaments.
This isn't just about basketball or hockey.
RDV Sports, Florida Hospital, the Orlando Magic, and the Orlando Solar Bears present the RDV Sportsplex. Memberships available now.
We play your game on Sunshine Network.
10,000 eyes are on me.
Yeah. Do it, Casey. Do it.
Shouting, Casey, go all the way.
Casey, do it. Come on, Casey.
First base, second base, third base. Make your move today. Do it, Casey. Do it. Score mighty, Casey. Score.
Score.
I just don't get it. Is that what girls are for?
Must I, Amanda, take this guy to have and to hold, to go out with and make out with, to be together and sleep together, to go all the way, because they say he'll walk away, unless I do.
If you don't talk with your kids about sex, who will? Our free booklet can help.
Lovely, young, and talented Brittany Roberts with our national anthem this evening as Detroit and Orlando are set to face off once again. And we paired Jeff Reese against David Littman between the pipes. Jeff Reese, one of the best netminders in all the IHL. A year ago, he and Rich Perrott combined to win the Norris Trophy, given to the top goaltending tandem in the league. In fact, this year he has won 3 of his 4 starts against the Solar Bears. David Littman has 3 victories as well, Greener, against Detroit this season. No team is as successful against the Vipers as is Orlando. Why?
Well, they play very well against them. They have some speed, and that's exactly what Kurt Fraser wants them to use, is that speed. That's one of the reasons he put Neaton up on that forward line to try and beat those big defense.
Not only did he move him up front, but Kurt Fraser has teamed him with centerman Mark Beaufait, the top playmaker in the league, and Eric Nicholas on the right wing. Pat Mickish takes the opening draw this evening. He is on with Ben Hankinson, who wrist one right off the pad of Reese. It's knocked down by Buchanan, pitching in the defenseman, and banked out by Keith Aldridge, young defenseman too. So Buchanan team tonight. On the ice, as we check, Dameworth is out there in his debut. Chad Dameworth tonight, back from Mississippi, gets the first shift. Bernard DeGrace working, along with Burt and Sass, wheeling and losing his edge. Down goes Andy Bizzo, and we come out. And to see what number Chad Dameworth has been assigned. It is number 6, just up from the ECHL at Mississippi. He goes off along with Buchanan. Todd Richards is on with Barry Drager defensively and held up at center. Nicholas with the check, and here is Barry Drager, who risks it through traffic to Mark Beaufait. Beaufait with Nicholas, the rookie. Offsides was Pat Neaton in his first shift. Across the line a little too quickly.
Well, as you said, up on the left wing, Neaton, Beaufait, and Nicholas. That'll be a quick line, and that's what Kurt Fraser wants. Panalev, Trevor Sim, and Hankinson. Hankinson will do a lot of banging, create some room for Panalev. But you look at that last line, they want to get that line going for sure with Hubie McDonough. As you look at the defensive pairing, they're right down the line. You have Engelstad playing with Richards. That'll be a good defensive pairing. Dameworth with Jeff Buchanan.
And some glass, it appears, and the pane has come loose, certainly drawing the concern of Bernard DeGrace.
And that last pairing, Paul, Barry Drager, playing with Sean McCann, who has had a good time. Bernie DeGrace, he has been here the whole week. He called the IHL All-Star game, and he also called the game on Thursday between these two teams. And here he is again. He knows his town very well. Hopefully he knows the teams very well, too.
You can vote in Florida if you live here a week. I believe that that's the law in the state of Florida. So Bernie DeGrace will be paying taxes here. One of the best referees in the eye as he talks to the expert maintenance staff that they have here. A look at Detroit's lines, and who's the rock and roll artist? Sheryl Crow, and her hit "A Change Will Do You Good."
Well,
seems to be Steve Ludzik's favorite artist.
Yeah, Steve Ludzik's not afraid to move things around here. He's definitely a mix master of a coach when it comes to his lines, but he likes to keep things fresh, and he likes to keep his players on their toes. And what he does, you can't really question, because last year he led his team to the Turner Cup Championship, and this year he is #1 in the IHL. His team leads in that category.
Speaking of fresh, look at that vest he's wearing. Looks as if he ought to be opening at the Sands Hotel. Well, we're going to have a delay here as the maintenance staff will attend to a pain in the corner. Detroit has one of the more rugged defensive cores in the league. They play so well in their own zone, and with Orlando in the Detroit end, they are apt to put Solar Bears up against the glass.
Well, here's the hit that does it. Actually, a good hit, double teaming, and as is so often the case, when there's a basketball game in the building the night before, they have to take all that glass down, and they have to take all that, some of the boards out as well, and so you have to slap them back up pretty quick. And sometimes you miss a screw or you miss a stanchion, and that happens. And it was a good hard hit. Pat Mickish being moved around a little bit. You see him and Trevor Sim usually sharing or changing around on the 10th forward spot. But
he
tonight,
took the opening draw
yeah,
tonight.
he did, and that was a last-minute change by Kurt Fraser, as you can see. Originally, we had him as a 10th forward, and you had Trevor Sim centering Panalev and Ben Hankinson. So obviously, Kurt Fraser juggling the lines a little bit himself, as the referee has allowed the players to go for a little skate if they like. You see a lot of the players on the ice. That's not a new format in the IHL. It's just the guys letting the guys keep their legs a little bit loose.
Well,
there's a little bit of a delay with that.
You have a morning skate, and now you have an evening skate before we resume play. We asked Kurt Fraser, who has been successful against Detroit not only this season but in years gone by, what it would take to prevail again this evening.
Well, obviously they got a big, powerful team that gives us a lot of trouble down low in our zone. We're going to make sure we get it out fast. Our D-zone coverage, we've got to support the puck a lot better. We've got to do a much better job on the walls because they're D-pinch very aggressively. But once we get into the neutral zone, with our speed, their D have a tough time handling it. So we want to make sure it gets out of our end. We don't spend too much time there getting in confrontations, one-on-one confrontations in the corner with these big forwards. And we want to spend some time in their zone, work their D low. That's where they're weak. You know, you set a lot of picks down there. They're big guys. They're slow of foot, and you know, our speedy, more skilled players can do a lot of damage down there if we are able to get it low and work it.
In one word, Orlando needs to counter quickly out of its own end of the ice.
Also, when they do get it down into the offensive end, they need to cycle it down in the corner, and that's what Kurt Fraser means by working it down low. He means cycling the puck and trying to find an opening and trying to outmaneuver the bigger defenseman for Detroit.
Here's Beaufait off the turnover. He backhands it into the zone. We'll have a tripping call, too. And Orlando will go on the power play. Steve Walker trips up Eric Nicholas. And barking as he is, he'll get the gate with this game not 2 minutes old.
Well, this game has gotten off to a real snail's pace. First, the glass comes out on the first shift, and right away on the second shift, we have a penalty. But I think good things are to come here. Orlando will be on the power play, and that means we'll have some action right there. You see the trip on the right-hand side of your screen. Walker trying to hold up. It looks like coming into the zone, Beaufait. As he trips him up a little bit, Walker for tripping at 1:09. Solar Bears on the power play.
And that means that Pat Neaton now out there with the power play unit. Dropped down low and picked off by the penalty killers. Our new Dodge power play numbers, and as you can see, Orlando struggles with the man advantage. In fact, ranks just 16th out of the 18 teams in this league in terms of penalty killing, as Detroit is outstanding. 5th in the league, and they feather the puck down the ice to bring on a shift change. For Orlando on the power play, Beaufait at the moment, he awaits Panalev, dumps it in. Over there is Scott Hollis. Scott Hollis riding Bobby J. And sticked in by Panaleov, and now out and down the ice.
The one silver lining, Paul, is the Solar Bears have scored at least one power play goal in their last 3 games. The 2 against Grand Rapids, the 2 games against Grand Rapids and the Thursday game against Detroit. They're 5 for 19, 26% in both 3 games.
They went through a stretch at Orlando when they failed to connect and score on 25 consecutive man advantages.
And at one point, they were actually being outscored when they had the man advantage, but they seem to have turned things around a little bit and they keep trying combinations until something works, and I think they finally found something that might give them some offense.
Todd Richards, with only 1 power play goal this season, settles at the top of the slot, drops it to the wall. Here is Bill Armstrong. The one-timer through traffic. It hit Reese right on goal. Now 23 seconds remaining. Todd Richards again slides it over to the wall. Armstrong right down low. McDonough looking to feed the slot. Can't get it off his blade. Good defensive position by Aldridge for Detroit. He'll work it behind the net. Mikic returns it to him. 9 seconds to go in the man advantage. Time for Richards to unload. And it is picked off by John Gruden. So they kill it off. Back to Gruden. Gruden across the line, short-handed. It's loose in the slot. And followed on and scooped up. Mikic went down on it. And Nicholas comes off. Walker's back on with full strength, and Trevor Sim puts it on the pad of Reese. Orlando with 3 shots on goal in the first 3.5 minutes of this game, and a couple in the last minute. Shane Bainworth skated a great deal last year and some this year in the American Hockey League. Now back in the ice. Stood up at the line. Brad Norton unable to get it out. And now the whistle, and we'll have a neutral ice draw when we return to the arena on a Saturday night.
How long does it take to turn the new Dodge Durango from the sport utility with the most passenger room in its class into the one with the most cargo room? Not long enough. Durango, new ground for the new Dodge.
Check out the stuff at the brand new Orlando Magic Fanatic with thousands of square feet of shopping space so you can get the hottest stuff around. The Fanatic offers the largest selection of Magic and Solar Bears merchandise and a full line of Nike and Reebok shoes. The Fanatic has more space, more parking, more fun, more stuff. The new Orlando Magic Fanatic is now open. The coolest place in town is at the northwest corner of I-4 and Highway 50, downtown Orlando.
Kurt Frazier, little tutelage there. Bill Armstrong and the Solar Bears just underway tonight in a scoreless hockey game. The reigning Turner Cup champion, Detroit Vipers. And who's to say they are not going to win it again? Look at him work offensively here. Phil Crow in the Orlando zone, wrapped up by Trevor Sim. They get it out and now dump it back into the corner. It came out to the line. Ian Herbers gloves it down. So does Buchanan forward. And it's swept forward by Trevor Sim, who deals on the wall to Bill Hankinson. Ben puts it on goal, and Reese has been peppered by pucks in the early going. Whirling Bobby J didn't like it one bit. The Grigory Panaleov was aggressively going to net. It took those two a while to calm down.
Well, it was a good shot, good idea by Ben Hankinson, a good hard shot. And his idea was he was looking for a rebound, and that's why Panalev drove to the net. Panalev did the right thing. Right here, you'll see the move, and then he'll take a good hard slap shot. Watch Panalev driving to the net. Panalev's looking for a rebound, and the rebound stopped by Jeff Reese. Look at Panalev here as he's got his speed, and he's driving in there looking for something, and Trevor Sim following right up. So they're doing the right things. That's what you want.
The original Viper, Bobby J, to work it out of the zone. Derek Banks, quick wrist it to center. Now Mel Angelstad collides with Banks as he plays it in. Orlando icing the call, and back out it comes. Grigory Panaleov playing with one front tooth this evening. He and Stan Drulia happened to collide, and he's toothless, is Panaleov.
Yeah, that seems to be the mark of a hockey player. Everyone always asks me if I have my own teeth, and it's well, it's a question that wouldn't be unwarranted if it was years ago when goalies didn't wear masks. But course, we wear masks these days in goal, and so the goaltenders are the best-looking guys on the team.
After Orlando, oh, wait a second now. I don't know if I agree with that. And I have never asked you if those are your own teeth, but perhaps I should. Working back in his own zone, Trevor Sim. In hard is Patrice Tardif. Out it comes to center. Panaleov cannot get it past Tardif. Angelstad sweeps it to center. And now kick forward, and here is Tardif, who recently joined this club just 2 weeks ago from Rochester. He, too, out of the AHL.
Well, they're really
under his check as he goes into
They're really
glass.
testing that glass out.
Reaching Panaleov in. Odd man rush, and it sticked aside nicely by Ian Herbers.
Herber's got that long reach, and he uses it right there because Panalev is great on the stick.
Here is Beaufait, and Orlando applying pressure, and that hit the blade of Jeff Reese. In goal. A long rebound out to Dan Casey. To Gruden. And McCann was positioned well between those two Viper wingers. And it's at the line. Chipped forward by Pat Neaton. Now glove down. Here's Steve Walker again. He wheels just inside the line. McCann drills him to the ice. Pacer working his way through traffic. Neaton corrals the puck as McCann stood up a Viper. And Orlando with another rush into the zone. They have it going on tonight, doesn't Orlando?
Well, Orlando's playing solid defense. They're making a smart, simple play, and it's creating offensive chances for them.
Now the top line on, and that includes Sanjulia, and he nearly got it to Gruden on the near side. Gruden couldn't get his stick down. Good rush for Detroit. Orlando out shooting the Vipers at the moment. Officially on the scoreboard, 5-2. But if you're Jeff Reese in the Detroit goal, it must feel like 15-2. All the pucks that he has seen. And it comes once again. Clayton Beddoes dumps it into the zone. Against the wall, Ted Daimler works, unable to feed the slot, picked off. Beddoes has Buchanan take it away. Buchanan waits for McDonough, now banks it out. Norton works in his own zone. The rookie, two centers. Around to check Andy Bizot. Lined up by Buchanan. Buchanan and Bizot arrived. Buchanan and Bizot made eye contact. And here comes Bucky to lead the rush. Bucky across the line. Down the slot. Leaves it for Holland. Holland shoots. Does not get through traffic, and down goes Scott. Countering is Detroit. We're playing end-to-end Andy Bizot. Right around Mel Angelstad. There is Buchanan. Buchanan gets it back to the corner. Armstrong lifts it into the air, and it bounces off of Habers. Hebers all the way into his own goal line. Now in the corner, Mel Angelstad stood at the length of the ice. Angelstad watches it kicked forward by Banks, who has broken his stick, has to drop his lumber and head off. Trevor Sim. So shortly Orlando had a man advantage. Panaleov stood up by Herbers. And there is Carson. Jimmy Carson, who seemingly has been playing hockey for 15 years, professional level. In his Julia, he finds Tardif. Tardif off to Carson. Sticks off his blade. Now he shoots. And the save is made by David Littman.
Well, Jimmy Carson is a dangerous guy to find in the slot all alone with the puck. He has 275 NHL goals that go back to his NHL career, and he's got a great quick release on his shot.
Sure did there. And it's icing off the Detroit clear. 8 minutes into this scoreless affair in the arena.
My mother taught me to be a real perfectionist, but around the house, I'm pretty relaxed. I think you should have beauty and comfort. So I looked in the Real Yellow Pages from Bell South for a real comfy sofa and a real cozy rug. If it's called a living room, it should be lived in. No, don't sit on that.
Sorry.
No grape juice in here.
Sorry.
Like I said, relax.
Use the Real Yellow Pages from Bell South. Beware the Penguins.
The Solar Bears' next home game at the end of this month, the final day of the month, Chicago. The Wolves will be in town. 839-3900 reserves your seats to see the Bears and Chicago. Along with the greener Mike Greenway, I'm Paul Kennedy. Orlando's home finale before embarking upon a 12-day, 6-game road trip. It will begin next Tuesday in Grand Rapids, Michigan. This is for Orlando, its 3rd game. Make that its 4th game in its last 6 against Detroit. We've seen a lot of the Vipers as of late. And Grand Rapids, the other team. We're clearing out the state of Michigan right now.
Well, divisionally, it's pretty tough this last little while for both teams.
Beaufait caught that feed in the chest. Drager on the trail, shot it wide. The rebound comes into the corner. Stan Drulia, the captain of the Vipers, goes down, trying to free the puck. Was Nicholas. Pat Neaton pinching in. Skating away from him, Keith Aldridge. And cut off by Beaufait, so he'll send it down, and on the clear will bring it out. Icing on the touch.
Well, we talk about playing divisional games. Detroit is going to be going on a road trip themselves, or they are on a road trip, but a long road trip here where they won't be back home in about a month. And the only divisional games they have really are these ones right here against the Orlando Solar Bears. Of course, at the end of their road trip, they play Quebec, but right now, Quebec not really threatening anyone. They're way down at the bottom of the league and definitely way down at the bottom of the division.
That's the 6th face-off won by Detroit. 8 drawn in the early going. One of Detroit's strengths, obviously. Hill Armstrong gets it up. Here's Jason Massoff. Puck loose out in front. Armstrong really raked over Massoff. Hammered out by Carson, but kept in by Buchanan, doing some tough work along the boards. Held in at the line for a moment by Gameworth. It's still in the zone. And now good work defensively. McDonough, and he shoots. Rebound off the save by Reese. And it's cleared out along the board.
Orlando playing solid at their own blue line, and that's what creates chances.
Banks with this opportunity. Banks, though, is wrapped up. Wrapped up by Armstrong. Armstrong gets it clear and goes behind his own net, and Banks is hooking on him. Picks the putt out in front. The one-timer by Bobby Jay. Lipton saw it all the way. Cycling out Clayton Meadows. Jay again, another save. And here comes McDonough. Off to Dameworth, and it's banked to center.
Well, the Detroit definitely showing that they can get back into this game. They've outshot teams in their last 10 games for sure. And they're looking to try and outshoot the Orlando Solar Bears again this evening.
Bobby Jay twice, Mike, teed it up. Right on the point. Successive shots. And able to squeeze the pad was David Littman. A look at our scratches this evening. Those skaters not in goal for Orlando as presented here by the Jewett Orthopedic Clinic, and that is most appropriate for Grant Richardson since his arrival from Fort Wayne has been able to play in only a handful of games. He has a fractured head. Kevin Smith has injured his MCL. It will take him 3 weeks to get ready. And Jeff Best has a fractured left wrist. That makes it challenging for Kurt.
And Mackey, the acquisition from Milwaukee, is still out with a groin injury. And he's been a tough loss for the Solar Bears. He's a big, tough, up-and-down, solid winger, and that's one thing that Solar Bears need a little bit of right now is size.
A hooking call as Panaleov goes to the ice. Will return Orlando to the power play. Phil Crow shaking his head in disbelief, but he clearly hooked the very fast Grigory Panaleov as Panaleov reached the Detroit zone.
Well, I think speed is the key word for the game this evening for the Solar Bears, and when you create speed, you cause other players that aren't ready to accept that speed. You cause them to put the stick out or hook you, and right here you see Phil Crow just gets the old hook on the hip, and Panalev gets hauled down right at center ice, and I love this. Look at Phil Crow. He has his hands in the air as if to say, what, me?
I never touched it. I'm an innocent man.
Yeah.
So the power play, how does it work this time? Well, short-handed and upended with Steve Walker. You held your breath thinking Orlando could have tripped him, and we'd skate 4-on-4. Bobby Jay looks up and sees the arriving Hankinson. Hankinson, the 7-year veteran. In the corner, they work it out. Pat Neaton carries it, keeps it in the zone. Here is McCann. He chips it down behind the net. Beaufait runs into Jay. Hankinson in the corner. Detroit packs it in front of Reeves. Neaton plays it top of the slot, wrists it toward the goal, and it's into the glove of Jeff Reeves.
Well, Jeff Reeves, a 1.87 goals against average last year, was tops in the IHL, also set a record. And he also compiled a 23-4-3 record with them. He played 32 games for them last year, but he's already played 34 this season, and that's probably one of the reasons why they reacquired Rich Perrant, the backup goaltender, who they just got back from Manitoba, because they need someone to take up some of that playing time. They don't want to tire Jeff Reese out.
Chipped into the air off the stick of Hankinson. Aggressively, Keith Aldridge, and the defenseman is in. Here's Pantaleo. Hankinson deals. Moving in front, will fake. Can't get it to Pantaleo, and Gruden stepped up in front of Reese and made a fine defensive play. In fact, caught that puck. It was chipped up into the air off the ice.
Well, defensive play, you're right. One of the goaltender's jobs here, watch this front of the net. One of the goaltender's job is to try and cut off passes, but in this case, it's the defenseman who gets in front of it. But a goaltender, if he can, has to try and knock down or steer away passes across his own crease. It's self-preservation is what it really is, but his defense doing a good job for him that time.
With some open ice, this is Pat Mickers. Now Drager off to Richards. He feathers it, looking for the tip. McDonough was there and sticked it wide. 45 seconds remaining in the man advantage. Phil Pro off for hooking, and Orlando on the power play for a second time tonight in a scoreless hockey game. Richards to Mickers from the point. Mickers comes back this way. Armstrong wedged off by Aldridge, and short-handed Clayton Beto comes into the Orlando zone, plays it into the corner, and now back out, Cuby McDonough. Another rush with 19 seconds remaining. As you see, Armstrong held up at the line, and apparently offsides.
Yeah, in over the line. Armstrong was holding the puck a little too long there, and I think it was Hollis who was just driving into the zone, and that's a situation where a good job by Detroit standing up Armstrong at the blue line, because then Armstrong has to put on the binders. Armstrong, who hasn't had a goal in 14 games, goal scoring, he's not here as a 40-goal scorer or a 30-goal scorer. Armstrong's here as a good, solid defensive forward. He had 5 goals last year between Grand Rapids and here in Orlando, and they just need to keep him playing hard and helping out his line mates.
Hey, Orlando wins the draw, just at third in 13 minutes here this evening, and McDonough take it into the wall, finished off nicely by Cardiff. And he stays on the puck. Here's Drager all the way behind the net. Out to Hollis, who wheels. And he couldn't put it on goal. Now at center, back defensively was Richards. Drager. And we're back to full strength. Crow has served this time just out of the box. Drops it off, but there wasn't a Viper at the point. Cross ice, Barry Drager. Stops, snaps it into the Detroit end as we wind under the 7-minute mark tonight here in the Arena. Scoreless first period. Detroit has scored more goals than any other team in the IHL, but they have none so far. And Orlando is out shooting the reigning Turner Cup champions at the moment, 7-5. Standrulia in alone, surrounded by black sweaters. Big hit at open ice. Andy Bizo on Eric Nicholas, the rookie. Into the glass again. Jay scampering back. And here's Brad Norton in his first week in the IHL, the rookie out of the University of Massachusetts. Julia again, the captain. Captain in the slot. Captain walks in. Backhanded effort on the pads in the crease. Covered up. David Littman. Julia with all that work and nothing to show for it.
What do you get when you fly Southwest Airlines? Fun fares.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now you really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
With us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now you really should fly. And you'll have fun, fun, fun flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, flying on a fun fair today.
The Bears are back. The off-season slumber is over. Hungry for contact and hunting for wins. Hockey season's gonna be a bear. Orlando matches up against Milwaukee, February 21st on Sunshine. Sliding through the spring, the Gators chomp up their competition. It's college baseball as Miami battles Florida, Sunday morning at 9 on Sunshine.
Stan Drolia has been an all-star for the last 5 years. Here's the reason why, Mike.
Well, he fakes the shot, freezes the defenseman, goes around him, watch the backhand shot he makes on Littman, but Littman gets his body down and makes a save. Great job by Littman there, because Drulia knows Littman. They used to play together in Atlanta, so he may know some of his weaknesses.
Next, Stan Drulia, captain the Atlanta team you were on to the Turner Cup champion, and then captained this Viper franchise with the Turner Cup last year. He drops it off for Ian Herbert. Herbert's in. Herbert's for the wraparound. Looks to tuck it and send it right through the crease. And a layoff at center. Drulia on him. Stan's been on the ice for a while. Walker, Angelstad. Mel loses his edge and goes down and freezes the puck right in front of the Detroit pen. Big Mel once again saying hello to all the folks in Saskatoon watching tonight. Way up in the frozen province up there in Canada.
Saskatchewan. Mel Angelstad, 1,884 minutes in his 6 years, as you see. He is a good, solid defensive defenseman, but he also has versatility. He'll play up on the wing if Kurt Fraser needs him to, and he offers a lot of room to guys when he plays on their line. So right now, playing defense for the Orlando Solar Bears.
Trevor Sim looking to split the defense. Down went Pat Neaton, and Pat Neaton has drawn a hooking call to put Orlando back on the power play. And Phil Crow says this is getting ridiculous.
Well, he keeps putting his arms up in the air like he's innocent. I love it. And Phil Crow, once again, he thinks he's being picked on. The thing is, Phil Crow, he's much like a Barry Dreger, very tough, hard-nosed player. And the referees just seem to know where those guys are on the ice. So you can't get away with anything, even if it's not fighting. And there he gets caught for hooking once again. And you see Steve Ludzik just does not agree with that call.
Orlando has won the last 5 faceoffs. Picks it forward here, make it 6 in a row. Orlando has won 6 consecutive draws. Ewan McDonough doing his work against the wall. The puck is played down behind the net. Scott Hollis looks to touch it forward, and instead Jimmy Carson able to clear. Both Phil Crow hooking calls, and he's had the last 2 minors. In fact, Orlando's yet to skate shorthanded, does not have a penalty, but he has hooked down Eric Nicholas, and now Pantaleo, or rather Pat Neaton. So speedy skaters. Crow gets out of position, hooks him down. Pat Micken unable to hold it in at the line. Carson flushes him back toward his own end. And here is Neaton.
Keep watching Detroit. They like to force the puck carrier on the power play.
McDonough in and double team sandwiched off by Walker and Gruden, and shorthanded. Walker reaches, but arriving right on the spot was Sean McCann. McCann with position, just took it away from him, and now plays it ahead to McDonough. McDonough steps around Evers. Tessa through McCann. Skates strong on the puck. Stops, looks to get a shot off. Can't. There is Walker. Walled off by McCann. Countering Pantaleo with great speed. To Nicholas, who flips it into the corner. 41 seconds remaining in the power play. Drulia on with the penalty killers. Pantaleo is out there. Nicholas against the wall. Drulia and Pantaleo working, or rather Nicholas to the puck, and it's out of the zone. Strong skating by Stan Drulia.
That's one of his fortes, is his skating ability.
He knocks it down at center. Meadows goes to the goal, and there's a rocket off the glass, shorthanded. A chance for Detroit. And now Pantaleo wheeling. Top of the slot. Buchanan on the trail. Buchanan, and that hit Todd Richards' stick and comes back to Bucky off a blade. Dallow Nicholas tried to redirect. That was wide. Beaufait as the penalty expires, and Detroit is back to full strength. And that's chipped wide by Gruden above his own net. Here's Buchanan at the line, unable to hold it in. He sends it rink wide. And now Dameworth. Dameworth pinching off to Beto. Beto's in alone. Beto checked off by Dameworth. To Buchanan. 3 minutes remaining in the first period, and a shot from the checkered red by Ben Hankerson was right on the stick of Jeffrey. There's Pat Neaton working in the corner. That's what it's like to do the dirty work down low. Now feeding up front Dameworth. A great chance, and it rolled across the stick. Here comes Andy Bizo on the offside. He's back off, and the save is made by Littman. Man's off and a penalty, and the penalty will be against Orlando and Buchanan. 2:38 remaining. Scoreless in the first period.
just another weekday afternoon with Mark Daniels on 540 The Team.
Whoa, 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 whoa. It's the best thing that ever happened to college athletics. You've got to be kidding me. Fine, if you want to call him a joker, that's your opinion. The guy's won championships. Let's define what your interpretation of worst things for sports are. Stop living in Orlando with Shaquille-colored glasses. What pressure's on Michael Irvin? Pressure's being the guy on the street who's trying to figure out where he's going to feed his family for the next
Get the inside story with Mark Daniels.
Actually, I'm a lovable guy.
Weekday afternoons only on 540 AM. The Team.
Every species has its own method of transporting its young. Some means of getting offspring from one place to another. Safely, comfortably, and reliably. And human beings are no exception. The Land Rover Discovery, far superior to carrying your children in your mouth.
This rush by Detroit, a great chance for them, and has produced a holding call on the goaltender, David Littman.
Well, after he gets pushed out of the net, Dave Littman, I think, will wrap his arms around someone. I haven't seen it yet here, but Littman there, wow, that's pretty weak, I think. That's a pretty weak call. Here we get another good look at it. It's chipped across, the shot and save made by Littman. Look at it go by. Now, this is the call right here. Littman supposedly stopping right there. That's a pretty weak call, just between you and me.
Oh, it appeared to be Buchanan.
Well, it was upended, but Littman had really nothing to do with it. He was going to put someone in the box, and so Mal Angleshead will serve Littman's penalty.
For good reason. He's more familiar with the box than perhaps any other Solar Bear. Knows the neighborhood. So on the power play for the first time, Gruden plays it to the wall. Carson returns it. Gruden, a one-timer, tipped wide by Tardif. Swept out, but not out of the zone. Swept out to the line by McDonough. Dropped down low, trying to feed Tardif. Stood up is Clayton Bello. And another penalty. Up comes the right arm of our referee this evening, Bernard DeGrace, and Orlando will skate 2 men short.
Well, on Thursday, the Detroit Vipers scored on their first power play right away off of a line rush. And now they'll have a 5-on-3 to play with.
McCann is going off for roughing at 17:51. And for the next 1:31, Orlando will have to kill 5-on-3.
Detroit Vipers on a 5-game winning streak here. And you'll see in the corner right there, the punch, left-hand corner, the punch by McCann as he's being held. Beto's holding his stick and McCann reacts. Detroit's power play during that winning streak is at 45% in the last 5 games.
So 5-on-3, an opportunity for Detroit, which has scored more first-period goals than any franchise in the eye. That hit that Neaton skate. Working here with the advantage, Aldridge. Gruden fans, McClack cannot run fast enough for Littman and for Orlando. Gruden feathers, tips back out. This is Aldridge. Back to Gruden. Gruden unwinds or drops it down low. Drulia looks to center and they score. He got it to Kesa. And it's 1-0 Detroit. Drulia to Kesa. Right out in front, and he lights the lamp.
Well, Dan Kesa, he is the leading goal scorer for this team. He also leads them in points. And Kesa will get his 28th goal of the season. This is what they like to do. Outman you down low and then watch the feed right across. Kesa will just jam this in the short side and put his team up 1-0. They're still on the power play, mind you, because that was a 5-on-3. So we'll see more power play from Detroit with the last minute 30 in this period.
Gruden gets an assist, as does Stan Drulia. And now short-handed, Panaleov and Drulia, and down goes Panaleov. And it's interference on Gruden. Gruden's supposed to be the fastest skater in the IHL, and Panaleyov's speed again draws the minor.
Well, Panaleov had a jump on him, and Gruden had to get his arm around him to kind of hook him up. Watch right up the middle here. Right up the middle. It'll be intercepted, and watch Gruden. Gruden will have to turn the corner, and by putting his arm around him, reaching in, that's another call that could be let go, but Bernie DeGrace this evening deciding not to let anything go. He's got zero tolerance in his pocket tonight. And so that'll nullify the power play in the first period here.
for Detroit. You must have been watching clear and present danger this weekend. 0 tolerance. So 4-on-4. Rudenoff for interference, the 4th minor on Detroit. That hit the side of the net. Back out to the point. It was Bobby J who snapped it right off the side of the net. 46 seconds remaining. 4-on-4, about a 10-second differential between penalty clock and the game clock here in period number 1. Panaleo flying through center. Panaleo off to the net, taken down, and the net comes off its mooring. Wrapped up and dropped by Ian Herbert. Grabbed him around the shoulders and dropped our one-tooth wonder to the ice.
What makes Panaleo so good is his ability to drive to the net. And I know I say that, and people go, fine, he drives to the net, but this guy drives to the net. There's a lot of players that would shy away right about this point, but he just keeps cutting. His legs are like tree trunks, so he's really strong on his skates, and he just cuts in on appeared like Bobby J, and he really made a go of it, but Jeff Reese stood his ground.
24 seconds remaining in the 4-on-4. Less than half a minute in the game in the first period. McDonough, that hit Bobby J. The defenseman out in front, and Drulia countering. Odd man rush, 3-on-2. Drulia in. Looking to drop it for Kesa. Picked off by McDonough. And he counters out to Scott Hollis, but it's past Hollis' stick. And on to Aldridge, and now Kesa will let the time tick off that clock if he can. Drulia sending it down the ice. And the horn will sound before Drager can get there. So we've played 20 minutes of hockey, and as they have done on so many occasions, Detroit holds the upper hand. The only goal, Dan Kesa from Stan Drulia and John Groden on a 5-on-3 two-man advantage on the power play. Our only tally through 20 minutes. The reigning Turner Cup champions in town to face the home skating Orlando Solar Bears. The highlights and much more. We are in recess tonight, our first intermission on Sunshine.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic. The ones we stock at AutoZone.
At Florida Hospital, the word caring isn't just in our vocabulary. It's in our system. A system that includes 6 area hospitals, 13 Centracare walk-in clinics, and more than 1,000 physicians throughout Central Florida. At Florida Hospital, we're helping people feel better all over.
It's no surprise that medical technology is going places it never has before.
Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Or that a communications company is helping bring the world's most innovative treatments to the South.
Do you see the cyst?
You were correct. It's attached to the fornix. What may be surprising is exactly who developed this extensive telemedicine network. It's not AT&T. It's not MCI. It's Bell South.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, it was a team effort.
From high-tech to healthcare, we're keeping you in tip-top shape.
We're here at the 31st Annual Central Florida Boat Show checking out all the boats.
We love boating. It's a great way to spend time with the family year-round.
The excitement has returned. The 31st Annual Central Florida Boat Show is back with 23 dealers and over 300 boats. People travel from all over the state to save thousands during this massive boating event. Enter to win a full-blown Air Nautique with flight control tower and launch control system. This is the family event of the year. See the latest and greatest boating has to offer. The Central Florida Boat Show, February 26th through March 1st, Orange County Convention Center.
The bright lights of the O-Rito this evening on a Saturday night. Delighted to enjoy the pleasure of your company. Dan Kesa with his 28th goal of the year, 1-0 here. An all-star game at the outset of this week. Worth enjoying once again as the stars of the IHL skated in Orlando.
The The City Beautiful, Orlando, Florida, had the honor of hosting the 24th IHL All-Star Game. And the Solar Bears Booster Club provided a warm reception for the All-Stars, greeting the players at the airport as they arrived from their respective cities. One of the activities during this All-Star extravaganza was a clinic put on for perhaps some future All-Stars at the brand new RDV Sportsplex. Programs such as this are a staple of the IHL's commitment to its communities all across North America. Several players and mascots spent some time visiting children at Florida Hospital. An important part of this All-Star gathering, according to Houston's Brian Wiseman.
You know, I think everyone says how competitive and what fighters we are. I think these kids are the fighters day in and day out. These kids are battling it every day, and it's good to see, hope just put a smile on their face and leave kind of happy.
Fans from all around the IHL got up close to their favorite All-Star at the autograph session. Then on Monday night, the All-Stars put on a dazzling display of skills in the Bud Ice All-Star Skills Challenge. Even the players themselves couldn't help getting caught up in the excitement. It was a chance for the league's best players to shine. And that's exactly what they did in 6 separate events, pitting the elite in the East against the best in the West. The target of the Skills Challenge, having fun, and in the end, it was the East prevailing over the West. The official All-Star Cafe was the setting for the Commissioners' Gala Monday night. No better place for the IHL's All-Stars to gather and unwind before taking part in the All-Star Game Tuesday night. The preparation began early for the league's showcase event, the 24th IHL All-Star Game. And from the very beginning, this would prove to be an unforgettable All-Star affair.
Sends it high in the zone. Kevin Dahl scores! Down and back comes the East, alone in front. For face of Orlando, and he'll score. They'll love that here. Instead, drops it back. Kevin Dahl scores! Yes, here's LaFave, clean from center on the breakaway. Drop head. Miller has the hat trick.
Houston's Ryan Bach earned the Pepsi Most Valuable Goalie Award. And Utah's Kip Miller, with his hat trick, took home the Bud Ice Iceman Trophy as the game's MVP. This night, the West was best, earning a 12-8 win over the East.
City, there is one place where even on 6,000 cubic feet of ice, tempers boil, where attitude is wanted, pushing and shoving is allowed, yelling and screaming is encouraged, blades and sticks are welcome, and protection is necessary. Hockey with attitude.
Please remain out of your seats at all times.
Solar Bears tickets available now. Call Ticketmaster at 407-839-3900.
I hang out with a pretty trashy circle. The circle that helps this circle by recycling trash. We sort glass, plastic, separate cans, stack newspapers and magazines. Now, thanks to us, there are lots of products made from things we've already recycled. This cereal box wants your Sunday paper. These paper clips, in a more daring life, a 56 convertible. The circle works like this. It starts when we recycle trash at home and at work. It's completed when we buy products made from or packaged in recycled materials. How do you know the difference? Check the label for something called post-consumer recycled content. It looks like this. Make a mental note. Then buy the highest percentage of it you can find. You'll save a tree, you'll save energy, and in your own way, you'll help save the world. Complete the circle.
Call 1-800-CALL-EDF for your free buy recycled shopping guide. 1-800-CALL-EDF.
score this evening through 20 minutes of hockey. Dan Kessler with the lone goal set up by Drulia and Steve Walker. 1-0 at Detroit. A local radio station, Mix 105.1, is welcoming and presenting this evening a marriage at Center Ice. That is correct. Joined in holy matrimony tonight, the lovely Kelly McNeil and Paul Pierce. Wedding ceremony currently taking place. Yes, he says. She's a whole lot prettier than my broadcast partner here in the greener. Now, it's about time for her to say, I do.
I just want to know if you're going to do the play-by-play for the wedding.
I have never done that before. I like to see some more of that. Isn't that neat? Have you ever been to a hockey game in your career in which somebody was wed?
I have seen another wedding. I've seen proposals. A lot of proposals.
I've seen proposals all the time. I've never actually seen the act, the consummation here. This would make, there have been many things happen in the arena. This makes this the holy church of the arena here this evening. Right now, the Solar Bears, as you can hear the cheer go up. Obviously, we have a new wedded couple in Orlando. The Solar Bears on the short end of the stick here, trailing 1-0. You see the newest Mr. and Mrs. Pierce, the newest wedded couple in Orlando. Where's the ring? There you go. Well, while he gets the ring out, we will show you what rung up our first goal this evening. A 5-on-3 this evening here. Stan Drulia scoring when Orlando was 2 men shy.
Well, the shot here, it'll get down low to Stan Drulia, who feed it across the front, and just, they can't block it in time. Dan Kessler with his 28th of the season, and also the Detroit Viper leading scorer. And he'll get his team up 1-0. Here's the fake shot, the pass, Drulia right across. They didn't take too much time there, and the speed is what caught the Solar Bears off guard.
And David Littman has played very well at times, although on this particular play, somehow, some way, he picks up a holding call. And perhaps it was that hook there as he yanked down to the ice Andy Pizu. But he drew a minor there, and Orlando was able to kill off the penalty. Ah, yes, marital bliss. One of the many activities taking place here tonight in the arena, and we will have more after this on Sunshine.
Bell South presents You Call the Play. January 21st, 1996. Newly acquired Mike Torchia makes his debut in goal against Cincinnati. And Torchia proves to be strong in the net. He gets a lot of help on offense from his new teammates, but is it enough to make Torchia's debut a winner?
My mother taught me to be a real perfectionist, but around the house, I'm pretty relaxed. I think you should have beauty and comfort. So I looked in the real yellow pages from Bell South for a real comfy sofa and a real cozy rug. If it's called a living room, it should be lived in. No, don't sit on that.
Sorry.
No grape juice in here.
Sorry.
Like I said, relax.
Use the real yellow pages from Bell South.
Torchia's first start is first rate as the Solar Bears beat the Cyclones.
This is your wake-up call.
Circle K coffee, made from 100% Arabica beans. Fresh ground and fresh brewed every 30 minutes or less. So at Circle K, it's always fresh, 24 hours a day, guaranteed. Circle K coffee. No matter when you wake up, it's the freshest coffee going.
It's magic time in the NBA. No other team is in their way. They've got the moves to reach the top. Get out of their way, they can't be stopped. Flying, there's no denying. Moving, proving, hey, can you prove it? Believe in the magic, they'll grant your wish. You penny the ball, nothing but switch. From off the floor, they raise the score. The ball goes in, the Magic win.
The Timberwolves take on the Magic Wednesday at 7 on Sunshine.
Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. Paul Pierce, the former lovely Miss Kelly McNeil, joined in marriage this evening here in our first intermission of an International Hockey League game with something extra, as we love to offer on Sunshine Network. The captain of the Vipers, Stan Droya, with our only goal, did so on the power play. It's 1-0 Detroit, the reigning Turner Cup champions, over Orlando. Although I think we all concur, Orlando has played very well, very solid hockey through the first period today.
Yes, they have. The only difference is you have to connect on your scoring opportunities. They had some great ones, but they have to get some concerted effort down in the zone there. And as Kurt Fraser said earlier, he said, we want to cycle the puck a little bit. By that, you're tiring out their defense, and then you'll create scoring opportunities.
Take a look at our Bud Ice numbers through 20 minutes of play. Recall that Orlando managed only 17 shots on goal Thursday night against Detroit. Here, they have 9 in the first period.
Well, yeah, they're doing some. They're getting some pretty solid scoring chances, as we mentioned. They were struggling in the face-offs, but they came back strong in that department. But the power play continues to struggle. It was showing some signs of rejuvenation, but 0 for 3 in that first period, and hopefully they can get that going the remainder of the hockey game.
Updating you on other action this evening, you see Chicago leading the Western Conference as the Dragons in town. Grand Rapids with a couple of quick goals and now leading 3-2 over talented Fort Wayne. Houston with Quebec in the Summit. Cincinnati taking on the Ice this evening. You see Indianapolis has won 7 of its last 10. The Moose trying to extend, or end rather, a 2-game losing streak, lead by 1. Milwaukee hosting Kansas City a week from tonight. We will be in the Bradley Center. Sunshine Network presenting the Solar Bears. 1-0 here, our second period, in a moment.
Sunshine Network and the Orlando Magic, we play your game.
Be cool about fire safety.
What would you do if you were on fire? I don't know. Jump in a tub? No, you gotta stop, drop, and roll.
If your clothes got fire, you gotta drop to the ground. If your clothes got fire, you gotta roll round and round. You just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. Get down on the ground and stop, drop, and roll. Get down on the ground and don't you ever stand. Roll round and round and cover your face with your hands. You just stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll. Get down on the ground and stop, drop, and roll. Stop, drop, and roll.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Right now, get a big old order of Nachos Bel Grande for just 99 cents when you buy a large drink. Taco Bell. Want some?
The Solar Bears head back onto the ice looking to even the score. They trail by a goal. As we head toward the second period of play, it is 1-0 Detroit. And Mike Greenlay has cornered Kurt Fraser's top assistant, Pete Horachek.
Thank you, Paul. Down in the vomitory here with Pete Horachek, assistant coach. Pete, you guys had a very solid first period. Can you make any changes? Would you make any changes?
I think we played pretty solid, as you said, but, you know, obviously in the power play, we got to get more people in front of Reese. He's seen the pucks as they're coming in there, and the low plays aren't there. They're pretty good on the penalty kill situation. We got to get some traffic in front of them, shoot the puck a little bit better, and hopefully we can capitalize that situation. 5-on-5, we're doing all right.
Previously, you spoke of outmanning them on the power play. Is that something you're going to consider?
Well, actually, when we enter the zone, we got to have 2 guys on the puck all the time. They're getting to the puck, they're getting it down. We're not getting our set up as we want to. So, yeah, we got to get outman them when we get into the zone, get it set up so we can get our shots and get some traffic in front of Reese.
All right, thanks a lot and good luck.
So David Littman, having faced this evening 8 shots on the part of Detroit and stopped 7 of them, hoping that his team can continue to play well in front of him and crank up the offense. Trailing now 1-0. David Littman with 15 wins coming into this game this evening. In fact, was the victorious goaltender in 2 of his last 3 starts. The solid veteran, the former Atlanta Knight, who is a part of Atlanta's Turner Cup championship team. The draw at center ice, and huffing and puffing, Mike Greenlay arrives at our broadcast booth as here's Orlando looking to work it out. And notice Pat Neaton is back playing defense now. Pat Neaton has gone back, and they have changed up front, and Neaton's playing with the Blue Lighters. We're skating 5-on-5, and back is scampering. It's Neaton and McCann. They headed off is Scott Hollis. It looks as if Scott Hollis may have re-injured his hamstring. He has gone off, and here is McCann. Nicholas in the zone. Nicholas hooked out by Tardif. Beddoes sends it into the Atlanta bench. I said we're skating 5-on-5. Out now is Gruden. And we are at full strength.
That's one reason why Neaton has been dropping back on the power play to the blue line, because he works the puck very nicely around there. But I think when it is 5-on-5, you'll see Neaton go back up on that wing, because they've had some solid shifts, really working well together. Him, and there you see him standing right next to his line mate, Beaufait and Nicholas, all 3 of them getting in the box together. So actually Neaton now on the other side of the bench. Usually all the forwards sit together, all the defensemen sit together on the other side of the bench. Well, he's on the wrong side of the bench for what he's used to.
Offside call will bring it out to center ice. We'll be visiting with Pat Neaton as he takes a long drink of water there. In our second intermission, now there is the defenseman into the bench. Buchanan there along with Chad Dameworth.
Well, Paul,
Barry Drager.
What happens there is you have one coach usually handles one side, one handles the other. A lot of coaches will let their assistant coach dictate the defensive pairings and how they go out. And you see both coaches working on the bench behind the forward.
Here is Gruden. Gruden banks it out. Drulia stood up by Engelstad. Uh-oh. That is going to present a problem with the Detroit bench. You can set your stopwatches. It will be just a matter of time after Julia is run by Engelstad before Mel attracts attention. Here's Kessel. Kessel touches it up on the wing, gets it right back, lifts it, and that's kicked wide. Perhaps Littman got a piece of that. Kessa is bumped, and now Julia cycling. Julia comes out, sticked away by Panaleov, and Grigory Panaleov will come out of his own end. Ahead to center. Trevor Sims set up against the wall. Now, again, Engelstad runs Julia. That is a second time that he is looked up Standrulia. What's that all about?
Well, Engelstad's playing a solid game. Actually, he's hitting them very clean, and that's a smart way to play, because he's going to draw attention to himself and maybe even draw a couple penalties. So some smart play there by Engelstad.
On the trail, McDonough chipped it right into the glove of Reese, and Reese had to be sharp because Hubie McDonough, who has one of the very best shooting percentages in the entire league, in fact, leads the IHL, put it right on net.
Well, the thing is, Jeff Reese is a solid goaltender. He's got a lot of NHL action. Hubie McDonough comes in, and he knows Hubie McDonough can score goals, so he throws that puck. Reese has frozen a lot of pucks when he's had the chance.
A long shot, seen cleanly, and Dameworth. And it was gloved by Reese, who elected to hold on to it. The traffic in front.
Again, Reese elects to hold on to it because he's not going to put his defenseman in a situation where he has to put the puck down and basically have someone coming down right on top of him. Dameworth just getting here today and jumping in the lineup from Mississippi. He's had some strong shifts for the Solar Bears.
With a banjo on his knee. Isn't that the song? All right, here they come. Patrice started. Our 2 sitters. Being ridden by Scott Hollis. Played out to center by Orlando's Jeff Buchanan. And now the rookie Brad Norton, who elected to leave the University of Massachusetts and signed professionally. And Norton is back. And to pick the puck over. It's nearly a giveaway. He scores a roll. Norton gave it up. And Hollis lights the lamp. Norton and Reese mishandle the puck. It's played back to Hollis. The net left unattended. And Hollis has the goal. We're tied 1-all.
Well, what a great play here. This is what forechecking will do. Look at the pressure behind the net. What it causes a turnover. It's Hubie McDonough. What a great play by Hubie McDonough to turn that play into a scoring opportunity for Hollis. You see McDonough forces the rookie Norton, and Norton coughs up the puck. Hollis right there, Johnny on the spot.
Hey, Norton, as Hollis scores his 11th in a Solar Bear sweater and his 26th on the year. And the assist, well, it's an unassisted tally. 1-1.
Even though McDonough should get an assist, he didn't touch the puck, and not officially, but those are the kind of assists that you really want. The hard-working ones where the forecheck drives the puck into a situation where you're going to score a goal.
So Reese goes back to play it, and the rookie, 22 years young, Brad Norton, comes out to help out and backhands it away from Reese to Hollis. And before Reese can get back in position, Hollis has stuffed it in the net.
It's no surprise that medical technology is going places it never has before.
Thanks for joining us, Doctor.
Or that a communications company is helping bring the world's most innovative treatments to the South.
Do you see the cyst?
You were correct. It's attached to the fornix. What may be surprising is exactly who developed this extensive telemedicine network. It's not AT&T. It's not MCI. It's Bell South.
Thank you, Doctor.
Oh, it was a team effort.
From high-tech to healthcare, we're keeping you in tip-top shape.
Drink Bud Ice, but beware the penguins.
A wedding on Valentine's Day. Congratulations to the family Pierce. And it's 1-1 here in the second period. Scott Hollis with a career-high 26 goals. Off the miscue by young Norton for the Vipers. There is Hollis, acquired, of course, from the San Antonio Dragons. He had 15 goals there, and now his 11th year. Very accurate and tough to miss, too, when you're slam dunking the puck between the pipes.
Yeah, his 26th goal of the season, his highest in his career. And Hollis, actually, we kind of thought he wasn't all the way back from that hamstring injury. Still showing signs of going up a little bit, but definitely showed good signs of anticipation on that.
A puck clubbed forward, clubbed out of the zone by Sean McCann. Trevor Sims. Reese roams again. Then Hankinson. Here is Banks. Banks off to Aldridge. Aldridge to throw. Throw in. Lippman plays it to the wall. Carson and Banks surround Drager. Unable to clear. James sends it deeper. Banks chasing. And out by McCann, cleared out against the wall. Throw at center. Drager off the turnover. It's off his stick. Jay, forechecking Penaleoff, lifts it over Gregori's shoulder and into the Orlando end of the ice. Here is McCann to work out. Just so to Hankinson, dialing Penaleoff's number. He and Jay in the near side corner. Herbers holds it up and elects to play it airborne to Crow. Crow's been in the penalty box twice. A nice move here to Beddoes. And that's wristed wide by Andy Beezer. Buffet. And Neaton is a winger. Richards at Engelstad on defensively. Neaton playing with Buffet and Nicholas. That's the attack line at the moment for Orlando on their shift. Neaton with the bump on Norton. Beddoes. Off the Cardiff, he lost his edge. Engelstad was there, and he sent it into the crowd. And I think he did so. He lost his edge at the same time he was going to play it in. And now Tardif and Engelstad having words.
Well, Engelstad has played very physical. I don't know if you saw that or not, but Angelstad there shaking his gloves, kind of a signal to say, well, if you want to talk, talk, but if you want to shake the gloves off, we'll shake the gloves off. Actually, Tardif just falls down, but I think he wasn't happy the fact that that Angelstad decided to have a kneel down on him.
Used him as a pillow, his footrest. Angelstad remains out with Richards. Ahead to McDonough. He overstated the puck. Corralled by Beto. Now Beto's at center. Back to the young Brad Norton. Norton to the wing now. McDonough. McDonough across the line. Tripped up. Tardif walling off Hollis. Played to the far side. Bill Armstrong. And McDonough shovels it forward to his defenseman in Richards. Richards off to Angelstad. Norton holding up Hollis. So McDonough is in right in front of the net. There is Armstrong, who rams it into the pads of Reese. And the play is whistled down. Bill Armstrong, it's been a long time since he scored a goal. He had a golden opportunity there.
Yeah, he did. You'll recall the Grand Rapids weekend. The Solar Bears scored 2 goals from really sharp angles. And now they're trying that on Jeff Reese. That puck came from a very sharp angle. McDonough will center it, and it's not a bad play. If you don't have a play, you center it. And right here, it just falls between the pads. And actually, if Reese wouldn't have dropped on it that quick, Armstrong would have had his first goal in 15 games.
The simple little things that Bill Armstrong does so well, going to the front of the net, being strong on his skates there.
There's no doubt about his intelligence, and he's definitely a smart hockey player. Just needs to get the monkey off his back as far as goal scoring is concerned, but he is always a good player out on the ice. And by good player, I mean he plays a good defensive style of hockey game. What you want is, if you're not going to be scoring a lot of goals, you want to make sure that you're not giving any up, and Bill Armstrong has done a good job at that.
Detroit held without a shot the last 4 minutes. There's a shot on Reese. It did not get through. Jeff makes the save once again. That is his 13th in 14 shots on goal in Orlando. With McDonough to Armstrong. Armstrong puts on the break. McDonough went to the net, and that hit a skate. Might have been Grube. Aldridge skates out. Aldridge up to Kessa. He touches it against the wall. Bobby J. Now this side, Julia. Rather than J, that's Steve Walker. Panaleo with the linesman and Aldridge. Tough to squeeze through there. A bump. Armstrong with an excellent shift will now go off. Kessa with the goal. Stick handles through Dingworth and forced Littman to go sprawling. Although the shot was not on goal. Again, Panaleo uses his wood so well defensively to poke check it free. It's in the neutral zone for Tardif. Tardif with Banks in. Appeared to be ahead of the play. Banks walled off by Dingworth. They both go down.
A couple of big men battling there.
Banks and Sim. Behind the net, Crow. Crow against the wall. Buchanan drives him into the glass. Trevor Sim in pinching. Now back out in front. Tardif looks to stuff it through and can't. To the far side and out. Down the ice. Jay arrives first ahead of Mickish to earn the icing call, the first icing call tonight on Orlando.
At Florida Hospital, the word caring isn't just in our vocabulary. It's in our system. A system that includes 6 area hospitals, 13 Centracare walk-in clinics, and more than 1,000 physicians throughout Central Florida. At Florida Hospital, we're helping people feel better all over.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
A 1-1 hockey game, but a great chance for Detroit moments ago.
Well, Patrice Tardif will battle here and wins the one-on-one battle. That's what they talk about, is winning the one-on-one battle. He'll wrap it around his second stint here with the Detroit Vipers. Last year he had 24 goals, 23 assists in 66 games. Just got traded back to the Vipers from Rochester of the American Hockey League for Brent Fedek and also for the loan of Tim Murray. So he's in his second try with the Turner Cup champion. There's Phil Crow. It looks like he got some a neck injury maybe, as the trainer, Dave Boyer, attending to him. Maybe his lower back.
Jason Mansour, the defenseman. A giveaway here, an errant pass. McDonough. McDonough in. McDonough shoots. That hit Reese, and the rebound is loose. Down goes McDonough and Kesa. Detroit is not crisp at the outset of the second period, and Orlando forces the turnover. Drager. Armstrong. Armstrong in the corner. Looks to feed the slot. Reaching was Hollis. Out comes off to Drager. Kesa. McCann is back. Here's Kesa in 2-on-1, and he shot it wide. He had Steve Walker with him in tow. And a good defensive effort there for Orlando, and McCann forcing.
Well, the 2-on-1, you don't want to give out on outmanned rushes right here. And watch Kesa. Kesa just waits. Now look at Walker on the other side. He slowed down. That's one thing you don't want to do on a 2-on-1. That far guy's got to drive to the net because he's got to draw the defenseman so the other guy can get a shot who has the puck, or he's got to put himself in position for the pass. Walker kind of just put himself right in between the defensemen, and he actually made it an easier job on the Orlando Solar Bears.
Detroit has, by our count, only one shot on goal in this period.
That by Hubie McDonough.
Out comes Gruden. Gets out. Panalea. Aldridge. Beaufait plays it to center. Richards unable to get there. Nicholas being outworked for the puck by Andy Pizzo. Now Richards. Pizzo goes down. In the corner, dueling with Clayton Meadows. And against the wall, now freed out. Working was Storipa. And Storipa is, again, Pizzo. He's in the corner. Dropped off by Beto. This is Derek Storipa in his debut for the Vipers. Andy Pizzo calling Littman to the crease. Gruden. Littman has been strong. And we'll have a delayed penalty, too. A penalty on Orlando on the touch. A holding call in front of Littman. And Detroit is going to go on the power play, and Reese was bolting for the bench to add the sixth attacker.
Well, we've talked about the penalties against Detroit specifically, and you consider how their power play has been clicking. Detroit Vipers, that is, in the past 5 games, a 45% success rate. Pizzo in front, jamming away at it, and it's actually the hold right there in front. Nicholas getting it too much of the Detroit Viper in front of the net. So holding is a call. Kurt Fraser and his team will have to kill off another penalty.
This is the third minor of this evening. The third penalty on Orlando. Detroit's lone goal tonight came on a 5-on-3. Julia to Kessel, the man who had scored it. Julia earned an assist. Gruden sits top of the slot, drops it down now for Gruden. Walker behind the net, feeds out in front Kessa, and he couldn't get through Buchanan. The one-time effort. And that broke the stick of Gruden. Now McDonough in short-handed. Ahead to Hollis. Hollis, well, Gruden kicked it away from him. Gruden without a stick managed to free the puck. Armstrong started to come out of the zone on the touch-up with the puck. Reach to the near board. Andrulia. Aldridge. Kessa, Pedrulia holding up at the line, and it's quickly swept back down the ice by the penalty-killing unit. Terry Drager joins that unit right now. Beaufait and Armstrong, McCann, the other 3 Solar Bears. Not to kill it off. On the power play, Detroit For the next 43 seconds, Carson. Beddoes wheel. Beddoes flips, drop down low. And the defenseman Jason Mansoff now settles up top of the slot. Carson throws it on goal. Littman covers up. Carson just inside the line, Mike. Weaved it through traffic, that wrister, and put it right on David Littman.
Well, traffic's the key word there. That's what they tried to do, is use the traffic in front of the net, and Littman was able to reach through on the deflected puck and cover it up. That's kind of a tough play because a goaltender has to make a decision here as to whether to dive out and grab it or wait for it and see what happens. Just centering it right here, and there's Littman. He dives out, grabs it, makes the right decision as they had the Vipers corralled in front of the net.
A most important draw now, a defensive draw for Orlando. Mickish and Beddoes, and Detroit wins it. So Detroit keeps it in the zone. Beezer against the wall. Beddoes with the puck on his stick. One-handed, and he comes out of traffic. Now spins on the dot. Gruden holds it in on the line. Barely kept it in. Deflected out in front of the save made Littman as Beezer was right there.
Well, Beezer in front he's tough because he doesn't let you push him around even though he's a smaller player. And again, it looks like Detroit trying to play that same style right there, trying to center the puck, looking for a rebound. This time they got it, and they also got a good shot off the rebound, but it was Littman making a very nice save. Watch, Gruden keeps it in, and then he'll center it. Watch the deflection here in front, off the stick, and right there, Beezer just couldn't get it upstairs. What a great save by Littman.
Darren Banks has just come in from the locker room and skated right onto the ice and is drawing his shift, and now he sticks it down. So Banks is very late arriving. He was in the dressing room, but he's taking the shift here. And the power play has been killed by Orlando, and there is Banks at a 1-1 hockey game. It was 1-0 Detroit. Then Kessel with his 28 at the end of period number 1. Scott Hollis with his 26th, 11th as the Solar Bear has tied it. Grigori Panaleov around Aldridge. And Panaleov cut off by Gruden, now wheels. Panaleov throws it toward the net. Hollis right through the blue line. In is Richards. Richards rips the shot. Takes a rebound. It's 2-1. Scott Hollis on the rebound.
Scott Hollis with his second goal of the evening, the second Solar Bear goal. And both pucks just seem to come to him. That's what happens when you're sniffing around the net. A good save here on the screenshot, but it's Hollis at the side of the net who has nothing but time. Watch the play by Richards, a great shot. And he makes the rebound happen for Hollis. Hollis is 27th of the season. Second goal of the night, and he'll give the Solar Bears a 2-1 lead and a 2-0 lead in the second period. They finished the first period down 1-0.
And for Todd Richards, it will mark the 4th consecutive game that the defenseman has earned an assist. His blast, the pad save made. Hollis on the doorstep. Scores his second goal of the night. And Detroit, which struggles against Orlando as it does against no other team in the IHL, trails 2-1 against the Solar Bears. Orlando has already beaten Detroit 4 times this season. The Vipers sharing a 5-game winning streak into tonight's affair. Norton at center. Dials the far side of the ice, Jason Mansoff. Still at center, Panaleov. Bumped by Walker. Julia plays it out. Here is Walker. Walker to Herbert. Here's Julia. Julia back to him. Sliding. Dameworth broke it up. Nice defensive play.
Smart play by Dameworth. He's been watching Julia.
Beaufait. Walled off by Jay, the original Viper. And now Walker. Stick broken by Beaufait. He heads off. Now gets a fresh stick in his hand. The puck pounding on the goaltender. Littman, who is run into by Kessa. Down he went. He gets back up. He does not have his stick. Littman without a stick right now. Run over by Kessa. Crawls on all fours toward it. And Beaufait with the stick himself, or rather Nicholas shoots a rocket, and Reese will pounce on the puck. Kind of wild there. 6:27 remaining in our second period. 2-1, Solar Bears.
College baseball on Sunshine. I've got the fever. College baseball on Sunshine. It'll cure my blues. College baseball fever. You'll catch it too. Charleston Southern takes on Florida State Wednesday at 3:30 on Sunshine. Hoop Madness is underway, and Sunshine's got all the action from your favorite teams across the state and the top conferences throughout the nation. Florida Atlantic takes on Florida International Monday at 8 on Sunshine.
Detroit's Dan Kessa has a goal and a goaltender tonight, all in one game.
Well, believe it or not, this is a goaltender's job to try and throw some interference for his defenseman Neaton right there. The only problem is he gets dumped himself. You'll see a lot of goaltenders step out when a forward's coming and forechecking, and in that case, Lippman lost his stick. It was fortunate he was able to get it back before Detroit got some shots on goal.
Detroit has beaten him but once tonight, and in his defense, that was a 5-on-3 situation when Kessa scored the goal. Aldridge plays it back. Forechecking Hollis causing problems in the Detroit end. And Carson has to come to the rescue. Aldridge tried to pass it at center. That was knocked down. And Carson will lift it into the air. Here is Breger. Barnes on his back. Beto goes to the far side. Threw it out in front. Aldridge reaches for it. Armstrong in the corner. 5:45 to go in the second period. And on the whistle, falling on the puck was Bill Armstrong. We will chat with Orlando's newest winger, Pat Neaton, at our second intermission. You were at his alma mater last night, broadcasting tradition-rich Michigan, the Wolverines. Had, of course, an All-American there. You can talk about the maize and blue if you'd like.
Well, it's I'm going to ask him about that because a lot of players, like you look at Houston Aeros, they have 4 players from that team, and a lot of these players keep in touch with their old team.
That was right on the mask of Lippman. Jason Mansoff with a rising shot. Norton and a foot race with Patalea. Patalea gets there first, puts on the brakes. Speeds on the trail, Richard! And that was a low shot that was wide. Engelstad sticks it down. Hankinson taken off the play by Skoripa, and out comes Detroit Mansoff. Mansoff dumps it in for a line change. Engelstad dumped is Bezo by Richards. And here is Jay off the clear for the second icing call tonight on the Solar Bears. We're even in that department, 2 aside. There's the original Viper, Bobby J. This franchise founded 4 years ago, and Bobby J has worn that sweater ever since. A real quality figure in the Detroit area and Bloomfield Hills, on and off the ice.
Well, Bobby J actually was off the ice a little longer than he'd like to have been 2 years ago when he really blew his knee out. And what he did was a job everyone likes to do. He did color commentary for the Vipers.
He did it pretty well.
He did a very good job, and told him to say the same.
Walker kicked out. He definitely has a future, whatever he wants to do with that organization. This franchise for the Vipers, of course, owned by the Detroit Pistons organization, much like the Orlando Magic. Parent company RDV, icing here, owns the Solar Bears. At the moment, Orlando owns the scoreboard.
We're here at the 31st Annual Central Florida Boat Show checking out all the boats.
We love boating. It's a great way to spend time with the family year-round.
The excitement has returned. The 31st Annual Central Florida Boat Show is back with 23 dealers and over 300 boats. People travel from all over the state to save thousands during this massive boating event. Enter to win a full-blown Air Nautique with flight control tower and launch control system. This is the family event of the year. See the latest and greatest boating has to offer. The Central Florida Boat Show, February 26th through March 1st, Orange County Convention Center.
At the Jewett Foot and Ankle Center, we care about all kinds of feet. Feet at work,
Feet that play, feet that dance, feet that stand still, feet in tight shoes, even feet in flippers. Feet with injuries, bunions, arthritis, or other painful problems. No matter what your feet do, if they hurt, remember, we care. Jewett Foot and Ankle Center, a service of Jewett Orthopedic Clinic, your team physicians.
Fans of all ages out on a Saturday night. 2-1 our score here, and the Solar Bears will be back on the air next Saturday night. Terry Clark is having everybody over for dinner. Milwaukee Admiral, our host in the Bradley Center.
As long as he doesn't have the Solar Bears for dinner.
He's playing pretty well, and they love him in Milwaukee. We've had reports there. Same old Kerry. Popular fellow throwing pucks into the crowd and throwing opposing players up against the boards and throwing left and right. Orlando, Bobby J working out against Orlando's rush tonight, out shooting the top snipering Vipers tonight by a couple of shots on goal, 17-15, and really playing solid hockey against what is undisputedly the best team in the eye. By a ton of points, too. They have a 21-point cushion in the Northeast Division over Orlando, and they are dominating the East, is Detroit. A win tonight would push them over the 80-point plateau, looking to become the first team in the history of the IHL to post 4 consecutive seasons of 100 points or more. McDonough across the line. Hollis on the trail, hunting the hat trick, and that hit Aldridge. There's not been a Solar Bear post a hat trick this season. Scott Hollis with an opportunity tonight to do just that. Drager with the bump on Beto. Here comes Bizot. Bizot to Aldridge, the defenseman in, sliding the can, block that. Brought down by Drager, and Drager will set it up behind the net. Drager being flushed by Bizot, comes to center, ahead to Armstrong. Armstrong stick handles in, drops it off. Drager on the trail, couldn't get there. Corralled by Tardis. Tardis past to Staripa, too long. And it's onto the stick of McDonough, and on the far side, Drager, who lays it down the ice. And here will come this evening the third icing call on the Solar Bears.
The Solar Bears playing smart hockey this evening. You can tell whenever they drive into the zone, there's always someone covering. So if a forward drives in there, or pardon me, a defenseman drives and jumps into the play, they always have a forward coming back and helping out. And on that play right there, Aldridge brought the puck down, and he had a good scoring chance, but it was thwarted by back-checking Solar Bears, and wow, look at that hair.
Good to see our producer, John Cook, tonight, taking some time outside our production truck to see the game in the arena. Working this game, of course, tonight with Joe Gossard, Kevin Cosgrove, Derek Brooks. 2-1 game, 2.5 minutes remaining. John actually doesn't have that much hair, so it couldn't have been him.
Hey, John, that wasn't me.
Spinorama Panalea.
I'm back checking here, Paul.
I may not be on that trip to Milwaukee. I might be watching. Here's Kessa. Kessa poked away. Now Engelstad. Panalea. Julia plays it into the Orlando end. We wind up at the 2-minute mark. Second period has been rather rapid. Panalea. Panalea at center. Knocked down. In, though, was Trevor Sim. Beddoes kicks the puck forward, and there's Panalea with Sim and Engelstad. Panalea across the line. Grigori Panalea through the defense, using his skates. Trevor Sim follows, and now Dylan Banks. Banks fields to Jason Manson. Back to Banks. Dameworth played it out. Carson with a shot that's off target. Dameworth and Banks run into each other. Nicholas risks it, but can't get it out of the zone. Sent on goal, tipped wide. Banks a wrap around. Banks wheels his stick right back at Jeff Buchanan. No penalty coming. Beaufait bumped off the play. Here's Beaufait back in. Neaton at the doorstep. Neaton in a scramble in front. And it's covered up. Well, Pat Neaton knows what a forward does, doesn't he?
Well, he's mixing it up, and he's causing trouble in front of that net. He's got one of the best assist men in the IHL on his line with Mark Beaufait. And so he knows that if he goes to that net, he's likely going to be fed a few passes. Right here, A good play by Nicholas, and there is the pass by Beaufait. And Neaton doesn't mind paying the price in front of the net.
And Patrice Tardif knocked him down. Buchanan in. Here is Beaufait. Aldrich. Beaufait wraps him up. Out in front, McDonough. McDonough stick handles in the crease. So does Beaufait. And the shot from the point by Gamewood. Now trying to tuck it free. Loose puck in front. Rolled up was Nicholas. Zdeněk Škaripa comes to the line, and that's poked free by Buchanan. Bezo with McDonough riding him. Patrice Tardif to Škaripa. Young skater from the Czechoslovakian Republic. His very first game. Here he joins this club from the Albany River Rats. Julia bumped. Didn't get a shot off. Here is Stan. Stan against the wall. Dameworth there defensively. Stan through Dameworth. He wraps him up. Takes him to the wall. Walker plays it out in front. And now poke check free by Buchanan. Seconds remaining. Here in the second period. Bobby J, one final shot unloads, and it's tipped into, or almost into the crowd. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, one final tick, and there's our horn. 40 seconds of hockey, and it's number 4 and the Solar Bears who lead 2-1. The Bears trailed 2-1 at the end, or 1-0 at the end of the first period. And then Scott Hollis with his first of 2, his 11th in a Solar Bears sweater, set up by McDonough, and then off the rebound by Todd Richards, and a layup with an assist as well. Hollis with a career-high 27. Pat Neaton and Mike Greenlay visit in a moment on Sunshine.
These days, it seems like there's a sport utility behind every treat. Well, here's a tip to help you choose the right one. Look for the one with innovations, like our elevated theater seating. The most power and towing capacity in its class. The strongest frame, the most seating configurations, the most room. You'll know it when you see it. Durango. New ground for the new Dodge.
What do you get when you fly Southwest Airlines? Fun fares.
Well, you've waited so long for a fare to get so nice and low now you really should fly.
Light up the night. Southwest Airlines fun fares are so low. Want to see that again? Now you can fly just for the fun of it.
With us, 'cause we got a lot of things to do now you really should fly. And you'll have fun, 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 flying Southwest on a fun fair today. Fun, fun, flying on a fun fair today.
Equal a given number.
What is a logarithm?
What is a logarithm? You're absolutely right.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Right now, get a big old order of Nachos Bel Grande for just 99 cents when you buy a large drink. Taco Bell. Want some?
I've been feeling kind of restless.
Ooh, you better go to the doctor.
Penny.
You're hurting. See the doctor.
Really anxious.
Man, you gotta go to the doctor. Just really jittery.
I just don't feel like myself.
You better get to the doctor.
Take 2 of these and call me in the morning.
Buy your Magic tickets now. Call Ticketmaster.
2 periods in the books this evening, and the Solar Bears hold the upper hand, 2-1 in an excellent hockey game. The man who's been a major part of the mix this evening, Pat Neaton, Orlando's newest forward, and he's joined by our own Mike Greenlay. Gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Paul. Pat, you're a defenseman, an offensive defenseman, albeit, but what are you doing up on forward?
I don't know. Well, you know, I just, I'm up there playing with Mark Buffet a little bit, just trying to go to the net and use your speed and go wide and basically, you know, just try to play a solid game up there. Like I said, get the puck wide and get it in deep and get some forecheck going. So basically that's what I'm trying to do out there.
Well, yeah, I think Kurt Fraser wants to utilize your speed. Of course, Detroit has big defensemen and solid goaltending. How are you finding that?
Well, the one thing you find with Detroit is that they have 4 guys back a lot of the time, and they're very disciplined defensively. So there's really not a lot of flow through the neutral zone. Basically, you have to get it in, and you got to fight through the checks. You know, they got some big wingers, but you just have to work hard to try and get a forecheck going. They're a big team, and basically that's what we got to try and do, get it in deep and get a good forecheck.
Now, last night I had the privilege of being at Yost Ice Arena in Ann Arbor, your old alma mater, University of Michigan. Do you still keep in contact with some of your old teammates and Red Berenson, your head coach at the time?
Yeah, I keep in touch with some of my old teammates there, and I always keep track of how they're doing on the internet now. You can follow them pretty closely, and the thing about them this year is what they've really done is that they've had a lot of freshmen come in, but they haven't lost a beat. I mean, they have a lot of kids that stepped up and have played great for them. So, you know, they didn't lose a beat. I mean, they had a huge graduating class, but they survived it, and they're doing outstanding, and they should be there for another run this year.
You're talking about guys stepping up. There's a lot more college players in the professional ranks now.
Yeah, there is a lot more. I think U.S. college hockey has developed a lot. A lot of guys are now using that route instead of major junior. I mean, both routes. I mean, there's a route for everybody, but a lot of guys are choosing the college route, and they're developing some good players.
You guys had a great, solid second period. You outscored Detroit 2-0 in that period. Now lead it 2-1. Some thoughts for this third period?
Well, we just got to keep doing the same things. You know, against a team like Detroit, they, like I said, they stacked the 4 guys across the blue line. You can't turn the puck over. You turn the puck over, you're dead. So we got to continue to get it deep, continue to drive to the net, continue hard forecheck, and just play sound. It's a good game, and we just got to continue to do the same things we were doing in the second period.
Well, all the best of luck to you, Pat. Thanks for stopping by with us, and we'll throw it right back upstairs to Paul.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Yes, we have not forgotten the beer spilling incident which occurred at the Palace of Auburn Hills. Tonight, Orlando out to spill Detroit and end a 5-game Viper winning streak. Our highlights in a moment.
Brown sugar, how come you taste so good? Oh yeah. Brown sugar, just like I knew you would. I said yeah. Oh.
Watch out for the new Pepsi can.
Whoa!
Pepsi, Generation Next.
This is your wake-up call. Circle K coffee, made from 100% Arabica beans. Fresh ground and fresh brewed every 30 minutes or less. So at Circle K, it's always fresh, 24 hours a day, guaranteed. Circle K coffee. No matter when you wake up, it's the freshest coffee going.
Be cool about fire safety.
Did you know that many fires started because kids played with matches and lighters? It's really sad. The fire started with matches and lighters for thousands of people last year. Like parents, then grandparents, and brothers and sisters. If you ever see matches or lighters, don't touch them. Somebody left out matches and a lighter.
Remember,
Wow!
keep your eyes open, and if you see these, tell a grown-up right away. But never touch them, and you'll be a real superhero.
Like a deputy fire marshal?
Exactly.
Don't touch matches or lighters. Tell a grown-up instead. Be cool about fire safety.
Through 2 periods of hockey this evening in the arena on a Saturday night, the Solar Bears now lead 2-1. As we welcome you back indoors this evening, an excellent period for the Solar Bears, as Mike Greenlay was saying to Pat Neaton here. For the Bears, I think they have played one of their better games start to finish to this point so far this year.
Yeah, they certainly did. They outscored a Detroit Viper team 2-0. That's pretty good. You're talking about one of the highest, or the highest, scoring outfit in the IHL.
How about Scott Hollis and the work that he has done? We take you to the highlights. Both Solar Bear goals this evening have come off the stick of the former San Antonio Dragon. Here's number 1 to tie it.
Well, good work by Hubie McDonough. He causes the turnover by Norton, and then Hollis, in a reach around there, he was actually behind the goal line when he scored that. That's Gretzky style.
And then here, off Todd Richards' blast, Hollis with the rebound off the pad save by Reese.
Well, his 26th and 27th goals, he's in the right spot. Another guy that's in the right spot is David Littman. Smart right there on the puck, covers it up. He doesn't want to give them any extra chances than they need. And David Littman also running a little bit of interference for Pat Neaton on the power play, because Pat Neaton's also doing defensive duties this evening.
Littman has made 18 saves and 19 shots on goal and survived one steamrolling tonight by Dan Kessler.
I wish we could call home to check on Jimmy.
Ahoy! We can call Jimmy from here. I'm Dan with Bell South Mobility, bringing reliable wireless service to everyone.
Well, we have a cell phone. It just won't work out here.
Well, with Bell South Mobility, you can call from here and most any place in the whole country. Oh, got any room in there for me?
I'll roll.
Get half off Bell South Mobility's wireless service. Just $9.50 a month for the first 3 months, plus no activation fee.
Oops, I smushed your gherkins.
In our quest for the finest brakes in the world, we tested our pads against other leading brands. With pad after pad, in test after test, the results were always the same. No other brand stopped shorter than Performance Friction Carbon Metallic, the ones we stock at AutoZone.
The Bears are back. The off-season slumber is over. Hungry for contact and hunting for wins. Hockey season's gonna be a bear.
Orlando matches up against Milwaukee, February 21st on Sunshine. Women's Hooters have joined the madness, and Sunshine's got the matchups you'll want to see. Experience the action of your favorite teams from across the state and throughout the nation. Florida takes on Georgia Tuesday at 7:30 on Sunshine.
On display this evening. What a great way to spend Valentine's Day night. Husband and wife taking in their favorite hockey team. And Bud Ice presenting our stats this evening through 40 minutes of play. The Solar Bears up 2-1. Scott Hollis with his 11th and 12th in a Solar Bears sweater. Career highs 26 and 27. Dan Kessler with his 28th actually led the scoring. Detroit led 1-0 at the end of period number 1. Take a look at our Bud Ice numbers in this hockey game this evening, and a rarity here. This is only the 4th time all year that Detroit has been outshot on the road through 2 periods of play, and in fact, Detroit, when trailing after 2 periods of play, has managed to win only 1 time this year. And as you take a look at the numbers here, that is the winningest team at the moment in the IHL. Detroit arriving with 35 victories and 79 points. The Bears out shooting them. They have had more scoring chances. The face-offs about even, and still Orlando hoping to get its power play unleashed. Just ahead, our 3rd and final period tonight from the bright lights of the arena, live on Sunshine.
On Sunshine Network.
Be cool about fire safety. If you don't want to get burned, be cool about fire safety. You got a lot to learn. Don't touch matches or lighters. Tell a grown-up instead. You gotta have an escape plan, and you'll be a step ahead. Don't hide, just go outside. Get out the door and run. You gotta race to a neighbor's place and down line 1-1. You need smoke detectors that everyone can hear.
How many smoke detectors do you have in your home? Count them.
Remember that where there's fire, there's gonna be a lot of smoke. Falling crows can make you choke. Be cool about fire safety. If you don't want to get burned, be cool about fire safety. You got a lot to learn.
We didn't invent the jet aircraft, and we didn't design the wide, comfortable seats in our business class cabin, or devise the convenience of assigned seating. But we did do something that a lot of people think is pretty clever. We made all of it affordable. AirTran Airways is taking low-fare air travel in new directions, and there's no doubt we're going your way. AirTran, it's something else.
Every species has its own method of transporting its young. Some means of getting offspring from one place to another. Safely, comfortably, and reliably. And human beings are no exception. The Land Rover Discovery, far superior to carrying your children in your mouth.
That fan must like the looks of the scoreboard at the moment. If he's backing the Solar Bears here this evening, Orlando leading 2-1 as we skate toward our third period of play in the arena. Detroit held a 1-0 upper hand, and Orlando, with those back-to-back Hollis goals, now carries this lead into the third and final period against Steve Ludzik, who's done an exceptional job in following Rick Dudley as the head coach in Detroit. His team won it all last year, and for Orlando to pick up its 5th victory of the season against the Vipers, well, here's what's important as we check in once again with Mike Greenlay and Pete Horchak.
Peter, likely one of the best periods of hockey that I've seen the Solar Bears play in quite a long time.
Real solid period. You know, we wanted to keep shooting the puck and forechecking well. We put some pressure on their D down. You see they turned it over a couple times. We got a couple goals that way. So we want to continue that. We want to keep them no out-man situations. Don't give them the 2-on-1s, the freebies, the Drulias. We can't give them those easy chances. So we're going to keep going a simple game, but continuing hard work.
Scott Hollis, he's getting rewarded for some hard work by him and other players.
Absolutely. You know, again, we want to pressure the defense. We pressured defense. Hollis got that first goal. The guy turned it over behind the net, and he had an easy goal at an empty net. The other side, again, pressure on the defense. He threw it at the back point. We took a shot on net. Reese has a tendency to kick his rebound straight out, so the rebounds are right there, and I had another easy goal for Hollis.
Great period. Good luck in the third.
Thank you.
Reese kicking straight out. The blast by Todd Richards led to Scott Hollis at his career best, 27th goal of the year. So Jeff Reese, a veteran of the National Hockey League, and in fact ranks 3rd in the entire league goals against average, allowing just 2 a game. Only Mike Busick of Long Beach and Wade Flaherty of Utah have a better goals against average. Reese 2nd in victories in the IHL with 23. And as Mike Greenlay finally reaches the booth here, Orlando's done an exceptional job of putting the puck on net and on Jeff Reese.
Yeah, the secret is to make the goaltender make the save. You don't want to do his work for him. And by putting the puck on the net, you're making him make a decision whether to freeze it, give up a rebound, or make him work for it. And Orlando's done a great job of making Detroit work, period.
Orlando wins the third period draw. Bill Armstrong and Scott Hollis, along with Hubie McDonough, the line that opens for Orlando. And as you can see, in the 16 previous games, and Orlando is what going into the third. Reese having to cover up. It's still loose in the crease. And now the whistle. Look at all the bodies laying on top of Jeff Reese.
It looks like a scrum on a
Reese
rugby.
may be hurt.
Well, when you're diving around down there, on your shoulders are really prone, because when you're laying on your stomach, if someone lands on you, well, if someone steps on you, you're in trouble. Right here, you watch the front of the net. Reese makes the first save, but they jam away at it, and right there, you watch his hand. This guy's stepping around there, and he might have actually got stepped on. There's no blood, so he's not cut, but he might have had his bell rung a little bit. But it's always tough for a goaltender in a scrum like that. That's probably the toughest job in goaltending, is scrambling around the crease like that.
I saw Rick Tocchet in Pittsburgh a few years ago skate right over John Van Beesbrook's left hand, and Van Beesbrook was out for a month. Detroit, like any other hockey team, struggles when it trails after 2, because offensively you can be much more conservative with the puck. Still time off the clock. What Orlando will try and do. Let's see how they play it toward the third Drager. Headmans it. to McDonough, who plays it into the zone. It is Armstrong. Gruden slowed him down.
We talked about rule changes, and maybe coming up, this is something that just has been talked about a little bit casually, is enforcing the rules that already exist. And that run right there where Reese gathered the puck up in a situation where he really didn't have to freeze it, that's typically, that's a rule, and it's a delay of game, and they don't really call that now, but they may be talking about enforcing the rules a little stricter. As I said earlier, no tolerance on things like that and obstruction interference.
Darren Banks and Pat Neaton go nose to nose. Kessa, poke checked away by Jeff Buchanan. Stick to head, and now look at this, 3-on-1. Here comes Nicholas. Off to Beaufait. Beaufait to Nicholas and sweeping down. Herbers was able to block it. Nice play in Herbers.
Herbers is a very tall guy, and he has that reach with that stick. Made a nice defensive play.
Made his body out. Break up a 3-on-1. Dameworth, and now Drulia in on the breakaway. Drulia in alone, shoots and the save made by Littman. Off it comes to Beaufait. Beaufait plays it in. That may have hit the post too. Richards. The breakaway and the save made. Our first breakaway this evening. Crow collides with Mel Engelstad. Out of the near side, Norton and Hankinson. Hankinson grabbed Norton's sweater. And we'll have a draw in the Detroit end as the net came off the mooring.
Well, it was knocked off by a Detroit player, but he's going to call a face-off inside the zone. I'm not sure how that works, but that's what the call has been made.
Beaufait is over to ask the referee this evening, Bernard DeGrace, just that question. Why are you pointing to the Orlando end for this draw?
I don't think he saw who knocked it off, so he's just going where the puck was when the whistle was blown. That's where it was when the whistle was blown, and so that's why the face-off is there. There you see the net coming off, and he just got a piece of it and let him push the rest of it out just so the referee would know that the net was off.
And that's what he saw, perhaps. When he turned around, he saw Littman as if lifting it off the mooring. Littman with a huge save as Julia threatened to tie this game. Julia tonight with 15, or rather Littman with 15 saves this evening on 16 shots. Aldridge, Carson plays it to the near boards. Hankinson chips it forward and to center. Gruden to Aldridge. Aldridge for Bezo. Off goes Bezo, a line change. Carson alone. Played to the wall. It takes a funny hop. Trevor Sim, and now Banks able to get it inside the line. Richards floats it down the boards, and he's being called off. A shift change for Orlando. 2-1 game. Julia, breakaway a moment ago with Kessa. Kessa looked to return it to him, went past Stan. Now Holler. Here is Banks. Banks, Julia, and Kessa. The line at the moment for Steve Ludzik. Off to Sean McCann, and now Gruden. Julia gloves it down as it rolled up his pads. And John Gruden. Gruden to Banks. And Gruden again. Out of ice for Gruden at center. He plays it in. Another shift change for Ludzik. And the Vipers, the next clock is running on.
Well, as long as Orlando keeps putting the pressure on, they'll be safe. But when teams get into trouble, is when they try and sit back in a defensive shell. You don't want Detroit coming at you and you just sitting back on the heels. Orlando should continue to play the strong game that they were playing in that second period, and that is attack.
Pat Neaton in, Patrice Tardif. Tardif, there was Crow on the doorstep. The save made by Littman. Down goes Walker in front of the net. Here is Beaufait, 2-on-1. Back is Jay. Beaufait in. Look to the left. Score! Pat Neaton! Pat Neaton in his debut as a forward. It's 3-1.
Well, we talked about the assist abilities of Beaufait. Watch the give and go. Beaufait will give it to him early. And Neaton will decide the right thing right here by just shooting it, and he gets Reese on the short side. But isn't that typical? Beaufait is going to get the assist. What a great play here. Neaton saw Reese cheating a little bit over the other side. The defenseman had the pass, so Neaton makes the right decision by shooting it. And Neaton's got to be happy. Actually, I said to him as he was walking away back to the locker room, I said, hey, go get me one. He said, yeah, right. Well, hey, listen, good for him.
Bezo unwinds the shot. That hit the pads, goes high off the glass. Bezo sends it to the far boards. And out to Pantaleo. Pantaleo at center. Trevor Sim reaching. Across the line, drops it for Pantaleo. Pantaleo in. Pantaleo on his way to the ice. Norton dropped it. Now Carson and Hankinson collide. Here is Bezo. For Mansoff. Mansoff in centers. And it was picked off by Orlando. Well, that goal by Neaton may be his ninth, but it's his first as a forward. You think there should be a special category for that? Or an asterisk? And Mansoff will put Orlando on the power play. Holding on Pantaleo.
You could see McDonough talking to Pantaleo saying, stay cool. We've got the power play, and we'd love a 3-goal lead rather than a 2-goal lead.
Follow me here. Follow me there. Tell me what I need to know. Call Bob. Let my voice be heard. Make my life simple. Sprint, that's my phone company. On the run, always changing. New challenges, more choices. Keeping the pace by keeping in touch. Moving ahead for the simpler things in life. Sprint, that's my phone company.
Dilbert for Office Depot. I've decided to abandon logic and manage by cliches. It won't be easy, but I'll take it one bird at a time. And remember, the customer is always right-handed.
This is actually an improvement.
Here's a real improvement. Office Depot's best catalog ever. Easier to use, easier to read, more products. Call today for your copy and start getting fast, free delivery, guaranteed low prices. Business is crazy, but Office Depot makes sense.
As presented by AutoZone, David Littman has been in the zone this evening for Orlando. Case in point, this breakaway by Stan Drulia.
Drulia's notorious for stealing the puck and going on a breakaway. Littman makes a save. The carom off his arm hits the post, and Littman has been solid throughout.
Littman indeed with 17 saves on 18 shots this evening to preserve what is now a 3-1 lead. And Orlando's on the power play as Keith Aldrich has been sent off for holding on Pantaleo. Orlando seeking what would be its first power play goal of the hockey game. Detroit able to clear, and here is Drulia, and out comes Littman. And Littman gloves it outside the crease and now plays it down.
And again, we talked about a rule that has been talked about, and that is to enforce the goaltenders from doing that, from freezing the puck. Actually, Littman just wanted to grab it and then throw it to his player, but the referee blew the whistle. You may notice that the Solar Bears are in their road jerseys, and you're not seeing funny things, and this is in Orlando. As customary in the IHL, after the IHL All-Star game, teams reverse jerseys so that the fans can take a look at what they look like on the road.
Good guys wear black today?
Maybe, and I think things are looking good in this jersey.
Reese had to make a save in on Hollis as he went for the hat trick a second time. Hollis is going to be this game's #1 star, the way things are shaping up this evening. Another chance for Scott.
Well, Hollis is very opportunistic this evening. You see that carom off the board, and right there, he just can't slip it underneath Reese. And you see Reese doing the starfish on the ice. He's not sure where it is underneath him either. But a good save here. He goes for the poke check, but he covers the rest of the net with his body. Hollis can't lift it up because he's too tight in. A good save by Reese.
See how productive he has been. Mickey, that got a piece of Reese. That would be a Reese's. I've been waiting all night to bore you with that, make you cringe. Here's Hollis. Hollis behind the net. Rudin doing the work defensively. Hollis hunts for the puck. Works against Clayton Meadows for it. McDonough comes free. Uses the boards to get it out to Richards. Todd keeps it in at the line, drops it down low. Green goes to his knees. Reese behind the net, covers it up. Gloved it for it, and play is on. Now, if he draws a whistle there, it could be delay of game.
If he would have covered that up, I guarantee you there would have been a penalty because that's behind the net.
Mikkelsen winds a shot that's offline, and again, Reese has to dive on the puck. He has fallen on it 3 times. Last couple of minutes, he has been besieged, has Jeff Reese this evening.
Mickish really unloads this one. I really didn't know he had that kind of a slap shot, but being careful with it was Reese as it comes back off the boards. Watch him let this one go and watch where it goes. Deflects off the stick, then hits the backboards. Orlando shooting from everywhere this evening.
Detroit and Jimmy Carson sends it down the ice, and now 20 seconds remaining in Orlando's man advantage. Keith Aldridge off with what is the 6th minor penalty whistled on Detroit tonight. Pantaleo back toward the line. Here's Neaton. Neaton on the power play unit with a goal already this evening. Sees that puck whistle past his ear. He and Herbert send it down the ice. And Detroit is back to full strength. Aldridge has served this time. Sean McCann plays the puck right into Herbers. And Buchanan corrals it at the line with Julia in on the prop. O'Fay with James. Back for Detroit. And Dameworth. Dameworth's been pretty solid tonight, hasn't he, for Orlando?
Well, playing really confident alongside Jeff Buchanan. Jeff Buchanan can give you that kind of stable feeling because you always know he's going to be back there playing solid defense. And Dameworth picking up the game real quick. He's played up here before, and he spent a month actually in Springfield, and they liked him up there. So getting right into it was Dameworth again.
Didn't have room for it on their roster. Now Julia on the attack. Julia to Kessler with the goal tonight. Banks the other forward. And there is nowhere to go. Dameworth was there. Dameworth made the play defensively, and now Barry Drager. Drager sends it in. Out is Reese. In his sim. Drager flying up north. Rams him into the wall. Banks touches it ahead to Kessler. Now looks to catch up to him. Kessler, as he comes to the line, dumps it into the corner. Littman gloves it. Immediately drops it for Trevor Sims. And Sims sends it out of the zone, and this will be icing for a 4th time as Jason Mansoff arrives in the Detroit end. 11:37 away from the finish line. 3-1, Orlando.
It's a magic groove. These dogs may know some fancy tricks, but under the magic spell, they'll roll over and play dead. Timberwolves Magic. Coverage begins Wednesday at 7 on Sunshine. Women's Hooters have joined the madness, and Sunshine's got the matchups you'll want to see. Experience the action of your favorite teams from across the state and throughout the nation. Georgia Tech and Florida State, Thursday at 7 on Sunshine.
The Orlando Magic are making their run through the NBA. You can follow them start to finish in
Magic Magazine.
Where can you find color action photos and in-depth features on the Magic?
Magic Magazine.
And who's got the scoop on the Magic? Everything on and off the court.
Magic Magazine.
Just call 849-7777 for Magic Magazine, the official magazine of the Orlando Magic.
Magic Magazine is pure magic.
The winningest team in the International Hockey League, which has outshot opponents in 15 consecutive games, finds itself now trailing the Orlando Solar Bears in a number of departments. Shots on goal decisively, as well as goals overall. 3-1, Orlando. Pat Neaton with his 9th, a pair by Scott Hollis to answer Dan Kessler. Walker put it on net, and a penalty on Orlando drops Gruden and Walker in front of the net. And now as they're getting up, Richards poked at Walker, who is flat on his back. Be a cross check. Either that or roughing as Scott Hollis protests, and Richards being arrested and sent to the penalty box.
Well, whenever you get pressure around the net, you're going to have players grappling and clutching and grabbing, and that's just a prime atmosphere for penalties. And the referees always watch the front of the net when that happens. And in this case, Detroit got a couple good chances of getting the puck in front. And by doing so, you watch Richards. He's basically got Walker corralled, and he just drops him. And that's definitely a penalty, and it's a good call by Bernie DeGrace. It's a defensive penalty.
And it's a double minor. He's going to get a defensive call and a roughing penalty as well.
Well, watch afterwards, and keep watching here. Watch Richards, and he gives a little face wash there. Not a nice thing, so that's what the roughing is for.
Well, this is a huge break for Detroit.
Yeah, this is another 5-on-3. They scored on their first 5-on-3 of the game, and here they go again. Orlando in a tough position right here.
Well, it's a 5-on-4, but a 4-minute.
Pardon me, you are
double
correct.
minor. Here's McCann in short-handed. Now it is a 5-on-3 because McCann's at the other end of the ice on his back. Kessa. Here comes McCann scampering back. Drulia in. Drulia the backhand. Lippman the save. Lippman is playing a sensational game.
He always plays well against Detroit, and he's doing it again.
Out comes John Gruden, who can fly up the ice, and Hollis takes it away from him and banks it back in. What a nice defensive play.
Definite motivation here for Orlando. The tied position between them and Grand Rapids in the division is motivation to get this power play killed and win this hockey game.
So Detroit scores once. They remain with the man advantage on this double minor. 3 minutes to go in the penalty. Gruden bumped into the wall by a pesky Meckish. And now Meckish chases after the puck. Bank gets there first. He's not going to go dial up Darren Banks. Darren Banks with the puck on his stick. Buchanan working on him, giving him a taste of that lumber. Here's Beddoes. Beddoes recycled the puck, drops it down low. Off comes Carson. Carson to the point. Carson slides it. Gruden moves in. Around the defense. Gruden walks in, shoots. Save made Lippman. He'll try the other side. No, go to the far side. Looking for some room. And that went off the skate out in front. It looked to be Dangler. It's held in by Carson. Carson unwinds the shot, and Lippman counters out.
What great defensive play in front of the net by those defenders. Dameworth and Buchanan especially doing some fantastic work on a big man in front that we talked about at the open of the game, and that's Darren Banks. He is a tough guy to move, and by Darren Banks being in front of the net, it gives the defense for Detroit Vipers time to walk in and do what they please, but Lippman stood tall when they needed him there. So good play defensively overall by the Orlando Solar Bears. Look at this and listen.
Now back to live action. And Orlando and Pat Neaton on the penalty killing unit, able to sweep it down the ice. Neaton and McCann, Sim and Bill Armstrong. And Kessa on the power play double shifted. Finds Walker. Walker around McCann. Throws it out in front, and Lippman covers up. Drulia got a stick on it. And Lippman squeezed the pads. Lippman has been brilliant. Drulia all over the net tonight, especially here in the third. And Lippman has been the answer.
Watch this play. Walker somehow will get this puck to the front of the net. And I'm not so sure that went off his own defenseman. Well, right in front of the net, Drulia, always dangerous. Watch this play again. Circling, Powers, and then, yes, Drulia did get a piece of it, but Lippman, like a wall.
1:48 remaining. Now the roughing minor being served by Todd Richards. 5-on-4. You see Orlando just about to get a 4-minute kill. Tommy J in. Ian Herber's taken into the wall by McCann. Drager and Carson alive. McCann hammers the puck and is able to clear it down the ice. It rolls onto the blade of Jeff Reeves, who awaits the arrival of Jason Mansoff to trigger the power play down. Here comes Detroit. 1:15 as you see in the screen. John Gruden with wheel. Into the zone. On the wing. Banks it behind the net. Hoping to get it out in front. He does. But Kessa could not get a stick on a rolling puck. Walker. And worked over by Daneworth. Gruden holds it in, and now it's out. And throws it against the wall. Out of the zone.
Gruden brought it back in, and that's the offside. It'll come outside the line. What a great job by Orlando killing off this penalty. There's some pretty tough competitors out there, and Lippman has been spectacular. 22 saves this evening. And a lot of those shots quality. There's the defensemen who are working so hard. This will be a tiring moment for those guys. Buchanan and Dameworth getting a lot of time out there on the penalty kill.
Uh-oh, here's Julia again. He shoots on the pads of Littman, and the rebound comes to the near board. There is Kessa. Kessa, Julia, the captain, off to Gruden. Aldridge slides it back to John. John drops it down. Kessa hunting some open ice. 29 seconds to go in the power play, and it's swept out by McDonough. Orlando trying to beat Detroit for a league-high 5th time as Gruden skates to center. He's in the zone. Herbert shoots. Rebound. Loose puck. Woman didn't see it. Loose in front. Shot. And a whistle.
I don't know how that didn't go in, Paul. Unbelievable action in front of the net. It's Buchanan right in the middle of things again, doing the defensive work and some of the dirty work. But I don't know how that puck stayed out. It was laying in the crease. Watch this right here. The first shot, the save. Look at the rebound right there. I don't know how he misses it. And watch, Banks hammering at it. Littman laying down, making the save. And then the rebound, Beddoes, and it goes off of Buchanan.
And a pair of hands for Littman.
Oh, man, this is a great replay. Watch this. This is fantastic defensive work, goaltending, and a little bit of luck. I'll even admit that. Littman laying down, making the save here, not even knowing where it is. But the puck stays out, and that's the important thing.
Now, you may have seen Littman's unprotected hand. He raised it up. How goaltenders so valiant in front of their net, as you take a look at David's numbers, he would put and raise a ungloved hand up in front of the net trying to stop the puck, and he had the rugged Jeff Buchanan. He too at All-Star playing in front of him. One of the reasons he's a +10.
Definitely solid defensively, tough in front of that net. He has no friends on the ice, there's no doubt about that.
Meadows to Banks, wins the draw. 2 ticks, 1 tick. It's a 4-minute kill, and there's Richards out of the box, and he kicks it ahead to Pantaleo. 3-on-1. Pantaleo slides, shoots, and made Reese.
What a beautiful save by Reese on the 3-on-1 to keep the score within 2.
Trevor Sim on the off wing. Crow in for checking. Pantaleo again. Herber's on him. Pantaleo just sticks that puck wherever he wants to. Now skating back, being pushed that way by Meadows toward his own net. Snaps it to the near board. Sean McCann, the center. Sean McCann lifts it up into the sky, and a new shift comes on. Orlando with a 4-minute kill. Littman's brilliant between the pipes tonight. 25 saves and 26 shots on goal, including a Stan Goya breakaway. And Orlando's in great position to defeat Detroit for the 5th time this year and earn its 26th win. It's not over. Andy Bizu across the line. Bizu sends it off target. Gathered up by Todd Richards, and now Armstrong. Armstrong wheels it down the ice. And Detroit, as Marsoff arrives, earns the icing call and an opportunity for us to take a break. 3-1, 6:11 remaining.
Yo quiero Taco Bell. Right now, get a big old order of Nachos Bel Grande for just 99 cents when you buy a large drink. Taco Bell. Want some?
At Florida Hospital, the word caring isn't just in our vocabulary. It's in our system. A system that includes 6 area hospitals, 13 Centracare walk-in clinics, and more than 1,000 physicians throughout Central Florida. At Florida Hospital, we're helping people feel better all over.
The Solar Bears saving their best for a Saturday night in prime time. Happy Valentine's Day. As this will make a coach's heart grow fond of his team, the way Orlando has played tonight against the reigning Turner Cup champions. perhaps their best effort of the season. They have been crisp in all aspects of the game, for the most part tonight. Some fault here or there, but the heart has been willing, hasn't it, tonight for Orlando?
Well, it's how you bounce back off a mistake, and they've bounced back very well off of any miscue this evening. You look at Bezo, and they're mixing it up. He draws as many penalties as he takes, and he takes plenty of penalties. Andy Bezo is fourth in the league in penalties. He has, in 34 games, he has 240 minutes, and Jeff Buchanan's up there as well, not as far as the standings in the league, but Andy Bezo, as I mentioned, draws a lot of penalties, so it kind of evens out with him. But mixing it up there, trying to draw a penalty from Jeff Buchanan. Jeff Buchanan a little too smart for that.
Lippman sticks it ahead of Buchanan, and Bezo goes and looks him up. We have not had a scuffle this evening. We have not had a major penalty whistle. Orlando has its share of those this season. Richards, or rather Nicholas, put it right into the mid. No brief. It's almost been a penalty-free game for the most part. Two here in the third, one aside. Aldridge and Richards, minor. Banks and Nicholas collide. Drulia against the sideboard to Pat Meckes for Orlando. The puck comes free. Jason Mansoff sticks it toward Darren Banks. Drulia is across the line. And now icing as it's played down. Gruden gets there, and thus the whistle will bring it down to the other end with just over 5 minutes to go in this game.
Well, you talk about Orlando having Detroit's number. Actually, the Orlando Solar Bears are only one of 3 teams that the Vipers have a losing record with, but the thing is, the Solar Bears are the only Eastern Conference team to have the winning record against them, and that'll bode well as far as we're not just talking bragging rights, we're talking about confidence if they meet these guys in the playoffs. Steve Ludzig has a strong team, and if Orlando can take the season series, it'll really mean a lot.
Herbert rested that one on the pads of Littman. And that is blocker. Here's Gruden. Watch Detroit turn up the intensity. Kessa not only a piece of that. Sean McCann takes him into the boards. Sliding down Ben Hankinson. Former Minnesota Gopher. Gives it to Trevor Sim. Sim and Drulia collide. Drulia is just not a pretty boy skater, and he cross-checks Pantaleo to the ice, and he's going off. He cross-checked him down out of frustration. And Pantaleo has drawn still another penalty tonight. Drulia is in the box and probably angry at himself. A costly penalty with 4.5 remaining.
Largest Harley dealer in the world. It's Daytona Harley-Davidson. Over 50 pre-owned Harleys in stock, ready for immediate delivery with an available Harley factory warranty. Find a payment you can afford through Harley Credit. Shop our huge selection of genuine Harley-Davidson motor clothes, parts, and accessories. Now's the time for your new Harley-Davidson. Daytona Harley-Davidson, celebrating the 95th anniversary of the Harley-Davidson tradition. 290 North Beach Street, downtown, Daytona Beach.
Captain of the Vipers, Stan Drulia, their best scorer, with a mistake of frustration.
Well, right there, taking a bit of a beating along the boards, but watch the cross-check Drulia gives back to him right here in the back. Bing. And that's just frustration, as you mentioned. Drulia not known for taking those kind of penalties. He's usually very disciplined, but I think he took maybe a little hit from Pantaleo that he didn't appreciate and was giving it back. And as they say, the referee always catches the retaliation.
One of the areas Orlando can improve upon tonight, what has been a solid effort, is his power play. 0 for 5, 5 shots in all, and it would love a power play tally to ice it. Short-handed, though, Clayton Beddoes carries into the zone and puts that right on Littman. Just got a piece of him. In fact, the puck ended up behind the net. Beddoes goes and checks Neaton into the boards behind the play, and Orlando comes out. On the power play, the minor for Drulia. McDonough unwinds a shot, and the save is made, gloved on by Jeff Reed.
That was trickier than you thought. That puck was labeled That thing was right inside the post. Huey McDonough rifles one there. They're 0 for 5 this evening, and McDonough wants to change that. Watch this shot. It's right inside the post here, as having to make a good save is Jeff Reese. He's made a lot of them this evening, but Huey McDonough trying to change that a little bit.
The Orlando Magic will be trying to change their fortunes Monday night. They'll be in Atlanta to take on the high-flying Hawks. Chip Carey and the Goose Jack Gibbons on the call Monday night at 7 on the Magic Television Network. Beaufait in. Magic can play as well as this team, display as much heart as the Solar Bears. A hard-working group on the ice this evening here in the O-Arena. In near board, Hollis in the corner. Runs over Gruden. That frees it up for Pantaleo. And with 45 seconds remaining, Mark Beaufait. Here is Beaufait at the point, top of the slot now, working to keep it in the zone. Todd Richards drops it down low. Todd with an assist tonight. Pantaleo to Mikic. Mikic to Todd. Todd back to Pantaleo. Put across the ice. Mikic with the shot. Rebound out in front. And corralled by Detroit, Patrice Tardif. Comes to city. Patrice Tardif dropped on the sandwich. Double team down. Beddoes backhands it in. Tardif has to clear the zone, though. And Todd Richards counters. Off to Nicholas. Nicholas along the board. And you see the power play set to expire. Drulia has served his time, and we're back to full strength. Drulia is out and on. Drulia and Sim. Now Ben Hankinson. Hankinson driven into the wall by Mansoff. Back to his skate. Aldridge with Sim. Drulia looks over his shoulder and now starts out of the zone and comes to center. Just over 2 minutes remaining. His team trailing by 2. Hunted Beddoes. Couldn't get it past Pat Neat. Nicholas. Now Drulia. The shot in. Hit the pad. The rebound comes right through the slot and onto the stick of Trevor Sim. Sim sends it down for the icing call on the shift. And we'll bring it back down the ice with 1:57 remaining. Try as he might, Stan Drulia can't get it past his former teammate in goal for Orlando.
Well, even a sharp angle shot is a good one, but yeah, look at these Orlando Solar Bears. You see they're not celebrating yet. They have respect for this Detroit Viper team, but just not enough to allow them to get another goal here.
On the other side of the ice, the Detroit Vipers, who had been held in check. In fact, had managed just 15 shots the first 2 periods of play. Mike, they have 14 in this third and final period alone.
Well, yeah, like I said, you have to respect the team, especially a Turner Cup champion team. The defenders, they have 13 of their players back, or will when Wayne Presley gets back into the lineup for the Detroit Vipers. And right now, they trail the Orlando Solar Bears, and the 14 shots on goal this period have been a test for the Orlando Solar Bears that they're passing right now. You can see Peter Horacek saying, get in their faces and don't allow them any room to drive down in the zone and start working some of their magic.
This would be a great way for Orlando to embark upon what will be a 12-day road trip. 6 games on the road, a pair of which we will televise for you while they're away. And then on the final day of February, Orlando returns home. The Chicago Wolves in town. Wendell Young, more likely than not, in goal for Chicago, which at the moment leads the Western Conference. So you have the top team in the East here tonight in Detroit and the top team in the West to follow. Beddoes frees it for Tesa. And Tesa watches the puck roll past his stick. Pat Neaton got it airborne. Now Walker. Walker snaps it toward the goal. Tesa wheels. Neaton falls on the puck. It's lifted up. Julia sticks for it. It comes out in the slot. Here's Armstrong with it on his stick, and it's out of the zone. Good work. Hollis with an inadvertent stick from Herbers may be cut on his chin. He heads off, and Detroit continues to apply pressure, trailing by 2, and they pulled their netminder, and they have a 6th attacker on. The shot save made again, Littman, and the rebound came right to him by Gruden, and he caught it in the breadbasket. And now the 6 come up away from the net.
Littman having that one land right in his lap, making a fantastic save on the first shot, but Gruden will deposit the next one right in his lap, and then rough stuff afterwards. Littman will work it around the net. It'll start up at the hash mark here. The shot, the save, watch the rebound as Gruden comes in for the point and lifts that one into his lap. And then after that, Buchanan working a little bit with Kesson. Watch behind him. Watch behind him. Bingo! You don't get Jeff Buchanan from behind. Right there, trying to do it, was Clayton Beddoes.
He's third man in, and he's gone.
Well, he got in with a cross-check Buchanan in the back. Not so much third man in, I don't think. But Beddoes is gone. He's done for the evening, and he'll go for the cross-check, and Buchanan turned around and swatted him in the mouth. And he might be gone for his efforts as well. Beddoes will get 2 minutes for cross-checking, and Buchanan will get 2 for roughing. It's coincidental minors here. We'll see 5 on 5.
So the draw will come in the Orlando end. And it's Kessa and McDonough.
4 on 4, pardon me, and the extra man makes 5 on 4.
Here's Gruden feeds. Kessa the shot again. Littman with what is his 32nd save for number 31 tonight between the pipes.
No doubt about the fact that this guy has played phenomenal this evening. Dave Littman. Well, look at the saves he's made. Reese is having a strong game, but Littman is out-dueling him.
He has been brilliant tonight, and Reese watches with the sticks on the bench. Here's Kessler. It's kicked forward. Gruden now. Gruden into the slot. Right past Walker. And back out to Kessa on the point. Who holds it in? Gruden again throws it on net. Back out it comes. Aldridge racing for it. Was able to hammer it into the air, and now it's kicked out. Was able to save it. And now Julia. Julia slides it to the far wing. Well, kept it on his stick. Skates to the far side. And his Kessa past him. Todd Richards. Neaton out to Beaufait. Half a minute to go. Orlando is going to defeat Detroit for the 5th time, and in doing so, in for the Vipers, their 5-game winning streak. It comes to a halt here. For Orlando, a solid effort this evening. Gruden with an empty net behind him. Sends it to the line. 5 seconds remaining. Littman sticks it out with 5 seconds to go. And we'll have one final draw.
And the draw will come outside the zone, not threatening whatsoever. And Dave Littman will be victorious this evening, and he'll get his 16th win of the season in an unbelievable effort by the Solar Bears and himself.
In the eyes of many, the #1 star perhaps this evening. If that's the case, it'll mark only the 3rd time this season that Liddy, as he's known to his teammates, the #1 star in the hockey game. You can make a case for Scott Hollis as well, and for Pat Neaton, who made a major move to play up on the wing.
There have been some great plays by a lot of Solar Bears, and I think they all should be recognized because there's been a lot of defensive plays that sometimes go unnoticed.
At the horn. Paint this one. Solar Bear black. David Littman absolutely stood on his head this evening to post his 16th win of the season. He is our #1 star. Scott Hollis with a pair of goals, number 26 and 27, selected the 2nd star. And for Detroit, the 3rd star, the solid skating John Gruden. And a 3-1 game tonight, won by home skating Orlando.
Orlando Solar Bears hockey is brought to you by Florida Hospital, the exclusive hospital of the Orlando Solar Bears. By the new Dodge, it's about change. By Pepsi, Generation Next. By Bell South, proud sponsor of the Orlando Solar Bears. And by Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer of the IHL.
Follow me here. Follow me there. Tell me what I need to